Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to some WARNO League action and to our first Division forecast of the season. As I'm once more joined by Chloride,
Hello, everybody.
and we have a pretty exciting match here. It's the second game of Super Chavi here on the right side. First series already was covered by Ryan Satome on Ryan's YouTube channel, if you want to check that out. And yep, it's cool to have a Eugen member playing in the league. Not the first time that one of them played in a tournament, but the first time that one of them playing in league, starting here in Division 4. And on the left side, we have a Division 4 veteran, Sneaky Kid, coming around, so this should be a fun one.
Yes, do we know if this really is Sneaky Black Guy's kid, or is the name just the similarity?
The name is just a similarity. They don't
Yeah,
have anything to do with each other. There are a lot of sneaky people out there in the world.
it's true, that's true. Protoss just dragged me away from playing the Battlefield 6 single-player campaign, and I am absolutely befuddled to tell you the first mission is well-paced. This is insane. This is heresy against 2010's modern military shooter campaign conventions.
Yeah.
But looking at here at the getting here in the game, I just looked at the Sneaky Kid playing 82nd Airborne, very rare division to see so far, both on ranked and in league, playing this and also picking the map, which is Black Forest. Now, Black Forest is notoriously a mixed map for airborne because at the same time, Charlie, the sawmill area down south, is basically a free pick for a more powerful forward deployment in an opener. And but at the same time, this this map is really difficult to finish. It's not that easy to get like one massive attack and have the enemy quit on you, especially not if the enemy understands that this map just gives you more time to rebuild and scale up your heavier equipment.
Yeah, and it's a pretty interesting matchup here with TKS as the counterpick. I think TKS is a pretty good counterpick against airborne divisions because you can match them in the aggro, and then you have better late game with heavy artillery with some tanks. They are not great tanks, but they are tanks. 50 M48 variants. And you have long range AA. And long range AA plus forward deployment AA against the helicopters and against the F-15s and F-16s. All of that is pretty great in the long run.
Yeah, Fourth Moto was banned on this game, and Fourth Moto is another division that's famous for and Second UK as well. Fourth Moto and Second UK and TKS less so, but even still famous for being good against airborne divisions because they upgun the airborne just slightly with those weak tank divisions and decent support equipment.
Yeah, we have F-104 Starfighter here actually coming around from the get-go. Likely as a bit of a helicopter hunter, or maybe against A-10s. We have a Phantom on the other side, so the Starfighter will have little chance of actually achieving much here. The Phantom, the way superior fighter, especially since the buff of the Sparrows, but even beforehand, yes, the Starfighter has good sidewinders actually, or old jet like this with the AIM-9Ls, but it has only 8 hit points, only 10% ECM, and the Phantom still has better sidewinders with the Jace. So, or no, actually has worse sidewinders with the Jace, but has the
Yeah,
Sparrows.
they had the Jays. The Phantom has one of the worst sidewinders, and all the West German planes and most of the European planes have the L variants, which are the first all-aspect missiles. So in reality, the accuracy like tripled, basically. Here we're seeing the first Kiowa Scout finding out about the Gazelle Cannon, most likely getting a spotting here, the BGS Recon Fallschirmjäger B1 Spec Ops, Green Berets, and maybe even the AMX-10 RC. Not the AMX-10 RC necessarily. Both scout helicopters getting shot down, but Super Xavi, kind of interestingly, I think a misplay of sending the AMX-10 alone to Charlie, considering the standard way of fortifying it is with the infantry, and AMX-10s can't just really do anything about them. TOW2 bagging a kill here, and I would have sent a cheaper recon unit to do that same task for the same purpose. Now, Green Berets are fighting in the front line against the Airborne Dragons, supported by 40mm. So far, for a Division 4 game, both openers pretty nicely balanced. Unit compositions, nobody over-investing into anything. Even the Sneaky Kids push into Charlie had exactly the amount of troops it needed with the 2 weapons teams and an Avenger with a very mobile helicopter leader with it. And Super Xavi is basically has been locked into the standard northern area Foxtrot lockdown with blue player basically holding those few buildings with some stealthy units and holding back the mech from advancing. If the mech manages to advance, they will be able to gain a lot of ground. So this is standard Black Forest situation here.
Yeah.
Protos, are you there? Yeah.
I wish Super Xavi would have pushed forward the VLR-8 20mm a bit in the middle. Then they could have gotten into Bravo with the fire support there. The 40mm grenade launcher being able to eliminate one Green Beret on the push was a bit much given there, and I think Super Xavi could hold Bravo right now. Sneaky Kid maybe a bit spread out. One of the issues of 82nd Airborne is that the infantry is really expensive. Like, you get pretty good squads, but all of them pay for good weapons and for the forward deployment, meaning that they all come in at 70 or 60 points, so you can't just spam infantry as 82nd Airborne, even though you're an infantry division, because of how high quality most of your infantry is. The fire teams are a bit cheaper, but even then, they still come in at 40 points for the 84 variant.
Yeah, this is the eternal issue with 82nd, as it is with a lot of traditional American divisions. Their stuff is just not flexible enough. The AB fire teams, the 5-man squads, do fill the role. So technically, you can have a tempo and mix of very expensive and relatively cheap infantry, but just in practice, this game and especially airborne gameplay rewards risky and aggressive opener behavior. And if you have a number of units, especially in the opener, just an advantage of 1 or 2 and ability to risk stuff and lose stuff reliably, that just in practice makes the opener better.
And another MX-10 here, a bit wasted by Super Xavi, trying to get it through north, a bit too close to the building complex, and the airborne scouts gets the kill there. Should have maybe gone around a bit further, tried to sneak it around. And yes, the MX-10 in itself was a bit of a mistake. Ooh, and Sneaky Kid comes close to his name, getting an LAV in the rear, but the LAV misses all the shots against the PLA-R Milan. Has to reposition now, trying to get another shot out. So this actually might maybe get through. Super Xavi realizes what happens, get the Milan out, but is too low range-wise. Might bring the MX-10 back, or has to find a new solution there. The autocannon now re-aiming will clean up the Milan 1 team, but helicopters already on the way. We have an MOR-10 on the battlefield. This is a major advantage in the long run for the TKS. That's why I like them against Airborne Division, because you can just kind of bomb them back into the Stone Age with that artillery, just bomb one building after another. LAV still gets the kill in the end, but Xavi is hot on his heels. Good reaction there. Not losing all that much. That Milan 1 team, not worth that much cost-wise, and also doesn't have to do that much on this map, because 82nd Airborne doesn't have all that many ground vehicles.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, there was a bad engagement with Green Berets losing against the AB Fire Team Reinforced Airborne, and Super Xavi could have avoided that pretty easily with some micro repositioning units. But now with the reinforcements, Pioneers coming in, once again, I agree with you, the VLRAs should probably be in better positions to actually try to do some damage. They're so fast that having them behind buildings can be nice. But with 3 Pioneers, 2 Pioneers after that air attack, this should be winnable. Neither side has enough supply on the grind fight area in the middle, so neither's forces have really can actually resupply. Huge issue with both of them, but at least on Super Xavi's side, there has been like backline action, so maybe that has a little bit taken their attention away from the situation.
BGS and Fallschirmjägers holding that Alpha Town quite well. One of the issues of 82nd Airborne in my eyes is that they don't have any special. Like, they are an infantry division, but the infantry isn't even that top level. The airborne infantry is fine, but outside of the LRS recon, they don't have any real combat special force. Like, 101st has the Green Beret ODA and has the Rangers, and you don't have anything, or not the Rangers, the Deltas, and you don't have anything like that in this deck here. F104 and Roland hot on the heel of the Phantom, but not hitting anything just yet. Okay, getting one missile in. I don't think the Starfighter is fast enough on the turnaround though, and the Avenger below it might be able to get the kill here with the fast rate of fire on the Stinger. Okay, F104 actually going for the Apache. That's a good target. Doesn't get the missile hit, gets a lot of gun damage, but the Apache does stay alive, and the F104 will have to get the hell out of here now as Stingers get the hit on it. Bashavi is in the zone, but doesn't have a CV yet moving in the center. Has one of the new units that got added to DKS out here now, with the French new CV vehicle. A nice addition from Eugen to that division. They even get a GSR recon infantry now, but the recon tabs are so tight that you might not even be able to bring it. The F104HE is here being used as air spam as well, cleaning out Bravo. That is looking pretty promising for Super Shavi. Now only has to bring up the CV there and start the +2 tick, as Sticky Kid has to reinforce Bravo big time now.
Yeah, once again, the Apache could have probably been gotten or killed if the VLRAs were in position. If you're playing against a division that relies on helicopters for fire support and you're playing with a lot of infantry, either get manpads and just have them garrison in the same buildings as your standard infantry, or you have to micro that anti-heli AA guns. You just have to. Otherwise, the Apache is gonna just keep doing free damage.
Yeah, I would also like to see a second Roland so that you actually have a chance of killing planes. A single Roland can push planes away pretty reliably, but you usually want to have two to get the kills there, with two missiles firing in quick succession. And yeah, we get another hit now. Second missile might actually come out and get the kill. Missile comes out, doesn't get the kill though. Phantom will get out, and the Phantom got a strafing run onto the P4 truck and stopped it from capturing Bravo fully. So we are only on a +1 for Super Savvy. That's only 40 points per minute. So that still is a long way out from actually getting around to win this. But the artillery now finding another Stinger shot. The M110 does really start to generate value here. Yeah, it still has 30 minutes to do more of that. And like unlikely to get killed there in the rear. More Gazelle Cannons coming around. Milan 2's coming in and another Pioneer leader together with some Green Berets. So reinforcements around Bravo are the focus now for Super Savvy, but Sneaky Kid finally has a 40mm grenade launcher, some airbornes, and the Sheridan there, so this should push Super Savvy's Pioneer out for now, and it will be a grind back in there, and the +1 likely gonna stop soon. The F104s come back, one of the Stingers down, so the AA here is a bit weaker. Well, they likely gonna survive. Good HE bombing runs there. Airbornes and the 40mm grenade launcher taking a lot of damage. The Phantoms get replaced by Eagles now, so one of the Starfighters goes down. But good kills there. Gazelle Cannons coming around for the LAV. This is going to be an interesting fight. I think two of them should be able to kill the LAV, but one of them likely is going to die on the way there. Yeah, damage is out. LAV can get the reload. Gazelle Cannon gets the kill though. Love being more expansive. This is a good trade for Super Shavi. Now hunting the Sheridan, and the Sheridan with its light frontal armor might get damage there as well. M110 coming around again for the airborne in the building. Good reaction there from Sneaky Kid. Moving it out of there. Gets damaged quite heavily still on the way out. So good move there for sure, targeting that. Gazelle Cannon wins against the Sheridan there most likely. Ooh, it's close to 50 cal. Not quite getting the kill. Important kills here from the Gazelle Cannons from Super Shavi. Nice usage there after killing off the Stinger. Gazelle Hot moving around as well. Just needs to be careful. Airborne Dragons pushing into the southern zone. His Fallschirmjägers got killed off by the Sheridans. The long-range fire support here used pretty well by Sneaky Kid. And F-15s now will start to get the air control as well, especially if we don't get more Rolands or IHawks.
Yeah, at this point, 12 minutes in, it kind of feels like Super Xavi's potential, the momentum has seriously gone out of their favor. They really have just been grinding to a halt, as not just by the backline action or the repeated bad engagements in the middle, but just there has been no real control over the game ever since the start. Even when good things have been happening, good engagements have been happening, Super Xavi doesn't really try to take advantage of those. Maybe because they don't have the utility units in position, or maybe because their attention is pulled into other parts of the game. But even then, that kind of tardiness is really bad against 82nd. That really just needs every single recovery moment they can to, for instance, get their Apaches refueled and LGB planes and expensive F-15 sport.
Yeah, and only one Roland here for sure is a mistake. MR10 also currently not firing, but reload is on the way. The F-16 gets one kill, gets hit and routed at least, so the second Green Beret does live for now, but Green Berets on their own can't push, especially if you don't use their smoke. They are only a 6-man squads. Using them as aggressive squads is not really the way. You want to use them early on to gain ground and hold enemies off when they push into you. And they are pretty strong in CQC and if the enemy runs into them. But outside of that, you really want to play a lot around their smoke and use them with other squads, with the big Pioneer squads, with the Airmobiles, with the Fallschirmjäger B1, and use the smoke to close the gaps to enemy infantry, but not use them individually as fighting forces. They are not cost efficient in that way.
Yeah, speaking of bad engagements here, the BGS border guards in the church tower in the middle getting bombed by an F-16 as two air mobile squads, which should be enough to fight off the sneaky kids incursion into the town right now. No infantry reinforcements coming anywhere near, so if those two units get some bad engagements, they're getting bombed here, so Sneaky Kid's attack probably gonna end there, but that's not really that necessary. Sneaky has a really nice uh, like map control up the north. The airborne scouts and airborne tone, if they move just a little bit further up, it's going to be really difficult for Super Xavi to actually attack there. Now, at the moment, a bunch of recon and a bunch of tanks are coming in, so there is a momentum or a moment, an opening for Super Xavi to capture that back. But there's also two TOW2s, which and a Sheridan supporting with their ATGM, and that should be enough to at least kind of hold that attack down. Now, if there is proper artillery usage, M110, then only a single TOW2 remaining. I think with enough aggression, Super Xavi might take that, but that would be a kind of an advanced play so far.
M110 is currently going to capture Bravo for him by pushing out the Humvee or maybe killing the Humvee. And he won the airfight there. He killed the F-15, so that is pretty big, meaning that his bombers, he only lost to Gina there, which come at 5 per card availability. But his bombers and rocket planes can come around more. The AA on the ground here, pretty weak for Sneaky Kid so far, meaning that Sneaky Kid also can't use his Apaches at the moment because any Gina coming by could kill those easily. Losing the Humvee in the middle, the MR10 really starting to get its value here. By now, most likely having paid off. Fallschirmjäger B1 in the middle here, in range against the airborne troopers as well. The full capture is going to happen as the airbornes keep on moving closer there. Will get close to the Pioneer Führer, but with the Fallschirmjäger B1 close by, the airborne should lose this fight. As the Fallschirmjäger B1 get on closer as well. The airborne already pretty stressed out, down to normal cohesion. Fallschirmjäger B1 should get there before the Pioneer Führer die. And even the Pioneer Führer on their own with the Uzis in the CQC fight might win that fight. As the Fallschirmjäger B1 getting closer. More airborne dragons coming in the middle, 40mm grenade launchers as well. But on the other side, we have a lot of M48s showing up. We have a couple of airborne airmobile coming in as well. The MR10 should start taking shots again as Sheridans and so on move around. And yeah, Super Xavi needs to get into Foxtrot, but still has 23 minutes to do it. F-16 comes around. As I said before, I would like to see a second roll on 3 here around. The bombing run gets a good hit there. Fallschirmjäger B1 at least do survive, but the kill nonetheless pretty painful there.
Yeah, so the M48 attack going out there, eating 2 tow missiles, one of these tanks already near to routing. Yeah, so that attack, Super Xavi's recon should have been leading the way.
Ooh, at the Pulsar Mega
Unfortunately,
B1, they're getting shut down by the 40mm grenade launcher. Those 40mm grenade launchers have been really good. Usabi flying the Super Pumas into the Avenger. Maybe just trying to figure out what kind of AA is there, so that his bombers know the way, knowing where the M110 should fire as well. M110 now trying to take out the TOW 2, but with the recon not quite being close enough, he doesn't have accurate shot and he doesn't get the kill there. Yeah, the BGS and the Sonderwagen maybe should be a bit closer. Green Beret ODA leader now coming in for the middle. Has to be careful with the Avenger there, coming in the transport helicopter. And another Roland finally enters the map. Next Green Beret leader for the northern flag coming around as well. Airborne is there fighting the Sonderwagen and the BGS. That should be a win with the Sonderwagen helping out. And yeah, the southern Charlie point is secure in the hands of Sneaky Kid. Xavi, I think, is playing the right points right now, but not quite the right compositions against them. Second M110 could be really handy by now as well. As the first one. Oh, I'm not sure. He might play it at 1 vet. Oh, no. You get them 1 per card at 1. Right. Where you get them. And the artillery now trying to go for the Humvee tow. That's fine as well. So M110 stays active. More Milan 2 units coming in here. F104 hunting the A10 now. Roland 3 can get some shots out there. Sonderwagen not a valuable target. The F104, if it can get the kill here, that would be big. Gets a hit. But guns runs the Apache instead. Gets the kill there. So that's not bad. A10 will be out for a while. The Phantom will likely gonna get the kill here in return. Oh no! Oh no!
Ooh.
Oh! What is going on with the Starfighters of Super Savvy here? Getting a 1-on-1 kill against the Phantom there. And getting out alive with only 1 hit point. But teleporting out before the Stingers of the Avenger and the Stinger team could find them as well. Okay, that's... Starfighter pilot is an absolute ace. And likely still has brown pants though.
Yeah, this is LGB Bomber here coming in once again, and the Roland 3, the one Roland 3 that is out here is in a pretty decent location, but the second one is, they are trying to hold the northern area, most likely thinking about protecting the tank attacks that are going to be happening out there. But in my opinion, should probably be behind the town, because there's going to be way more air attacks coming in on the town in a moment, I think.
Yeah, Roland not getting the hit on the F-16 this time around, so the F-16 will get out and back. The Scout OH here finding some targets for the TOW 2. 1 VLRA going down, 1 Green Beret later there going down, and Bravo, meaning the OH recon is coming around again, but we have some more Ginas here flying in. M110 maybe should try to find a kill onto the Avenger, as that is going to be pretty deadly for these Ginas. Ooh, Atas and Avengers missing a lot of shots. Oh, come on. What is going on here with Super Xavi's 0 and 10% ECM planes? Really not the luckiest rolls here by Sneaky Kid. But only a +1 for Super Xavi right now, which will be gone in a second here. The M110 has generated a lot of value, needs to generate even more. Bomber coming in for the OH. If Sneaky Kid realizes that, they should be able to dodge it by restarting the helicopter before the bombs drop, but they don't quite realize that that is the target. So, last second dodge. They will need to land again. So this at least gives Super Xavi a couple more points, but the capture will be finished here in a second. Really, last second, good reaction there from Sneaky Kid. Realizing the bombs dropped, got the helicopter just up. F104 now going for the ATAS helicopter. Struggling to get the kill there, this time failing, and F-15 and F-4 finally get another German plane out of the sky. Airmobile coming around, M110 targeting the Airborne Dragon, that's a good target. Another Gina rocket here coming around, but the Roland's not quite in the spot to directly protect it. F-15 still is in trouble here, gets hit once, might get hit twice. Roland's getting the second hit there, good accuracy AA. And the F-15 flew directly above them, so they get the kill there. So still a fair trade, getting the F-15 for Gina is really great. Roland 3s here might even get a Phantom now. They do get the Phantom. And that leaves a few fighters here for Sneaky Kid, meaning that the Ginas, the F-104 bombers, can maybe come around one more time. The M110 here, constantly getting some more kills, got some more airbornes, but the infantry fights and the ATGM kills here still going pretty well for Sneaky Kid. So in the end, I still think it's a pretty 50-50 game right now when it comes to the units on the board.
Yeah, so but looking at the units here, the reinforcements, there are pioneers going into the middle, trying to restart the middle infantry attack, but unfortunately, there just is not really any fire support outside of the M110s and the planes, which are not bad at it. The units on their own are probably not, the pioneers on their own probably not going to do it. Meanwhile, Sneaky Kid has 2 infantry attacks. One of them is landing right now on Foxtrot, and another one is going to try to threaten Alpha, restarting the town attack. And Sneak is actually routed these units straight onto the zone where the BGS and the Milan can take the toll. But even then, you look at this area here for Super Xavi. I mean, there are BGS units and there are a bunch of Milans, Milan 2s even, and Rolands. No fire support against infantry. I think 2 airborne dragons with a Sheridan supporting them can just gain that pretty freely. Not to mention that in case the Apache can come in and intervene.
Yeah, the M110 now aiming for the Sheridan should be able to get a kill there. We have a lot of Jaegers here coming up. Super Xavi likely got a bit of a income there, bringing in 8 infantry units right now at once. A smoke unit would be really helpful with them. Jaegers himself, pretty capable infantry, but a bit more support there would have been nice maybe. Gina Rocket is a nice way of support. We have an F-16HE though coming around for the Green Beret leader, but gets killed and does miss the bombing run. Good movement there from Super Xavi, slightly adjusting the position of the Green Beret leader, dodging the bombs. And F-16C HE number 2 coming around for Pioneer Carl Gustav in the middle, but the Roland 3s, that's what I was talking about. That's why I asked for a second Roland 3 earlier, because these 2, especially once they up-vet to 2-vet, but even beforehand, are really, really deadly. One of them by now up-vetted thanks to the amount of kills it got. F-104 coming in for the Airborne Dragon here, and yeah, you said there was no fire support, but the fire support is flying in time and again right now. OH helicopter also might go down now to the Roland. Nope, lands just in time. Will contest the point for a while longer. 15 minutes to go. Xavi now coming in with a lot of Jaegers. Needs to get a couple more points on the board. Needs to get a couple more units in, but is getting some good value in this game nonetheless.
Oh, Sneaky is doing a bad engagement with the 5-man fire team running in on French air mobiles. 2 French air mobiles getting eliminated there. Maybe the other airborne here are getting recontrolled, waiting for maybe the LAV or the Sheridan. No, actually, the Apache rocket is going there to try to break through those air mobiles.
Yeah, and the M110 continues generating value. Air mobiles, also really solid infantry units with the 10 hit points. Like the general 10 hit point strength here for TKS is quite nice. Jaegers with the 9 hit points, pretty solid as well. And pretty cost efficient in the infantry fights against the airbornes, which pay extra for the deploy, pay extra for the 84. And Apache number 2 here under attack. F-104 doesn't get the kill this time around, and likely gonna die to the Stingers this time around. Yeah, goes down. The M110 maybe could help out there around that point in the south. But Super Xavi now pushing forward with a lot of Jaegers in the north and Pioneers with Carl Gustav. Maybe a bit too many units going there. Maybe he should have routed a couple more into the southern zone. Moved 2 more close to Bravo here. And the M110 really could be helpful right now in those town fights. But for now, the air mobiles are holding. VLRA now finally coming in for a bit of support as well against the Apaches. Apache not moving yet. Still on an attack order. VLRA likely gonna get a kill here. That's a nice one. So, Apache trying to disengage. F-16 LGB gets a kill. And the Apache actually does get out alive. Roland's here, get another missile out. This time around, not getting the kill, but at least pushing back the F-16 one more time. Sheridan fire support here still going on. The M48s mostly picked off, so not on the battlefield, but the push here of Super Savvy does continue for now.
Yeah, sneaky. This is it's very interesting to see this kind of late game 82nd just overpowering its enemy that technically can scale better, but 82nd has been fighting from defensive positions for most of the game, and also has been at this point trading quite a bit better. And it's the tables are kind of turning, but I would say that Super Xavi's moment earlier in the game, especially in the middle push, there absolutely was an opening, and that opening could have been exploited by a little bit of more, M48 fire support there, a little bit more aggressive. Let's pre-buy the supply next time because we know that there's gonna be wounded anyways. So why don't we just buy it even before anybody gets hurt? That kind of stuff could have probably gotten Super Xavi into a better position in the middle, but losing those main fights, allowing Sneaky Kid to rebuild again and again, and despite investing really heavily into the air, so far and even kind of having air supremacy, just the damage being done by those airplanes is not enough to compensate. But we'll see if Sneaky Kid maybe does like a huge mistake here or keeps trading badly like those in those attacks down Alpha. Apache Rocket getting pushed away by air defense.
Ooh, one of the Roland 3s got found by a TOW 2 there. That is pretty big. And yeah, the Apache and the ATAs get finally pushed back, but they did do a good amount of damage as well. The Alpha push at least didn't work out, but Super Xavi's push here with 2 Jaegers and Pioneer and no fire support is not going to work out either. And yeah, no mortars here for smoke. No Green Berets around for smoke anymore either, as he wasted them individually earlier in the game. And now can't use them to push with the Jaeger infantry, smoke up, and then get into the buildings and fight from there. And no M48s for the fire support because all of those got picked off. And yeah, you just can't push with infantry across an open field. Neither in real life nor in WARNO. And there we go. Super Xavi, I believe, tapped out here. Yep. And Sneaky Kid does win the game. And Super Xavi didn't see a way of getting through there in the center. I think if the M110 would have constantly fired the last 4 or 5 minutes, situation would have looked quite different. It did get a good amount of kills, but it was pretty silent there in the end. That always shows how, like, yeah, it's such an extra amount of effort to keep all of that uh, action going, all of those APMs up, and keep on uh, firing with artillery like that.
Yeah, like there was the northern attack. You had all the pieces were in place. There was enough air control to do maybe a bombing run. There were 2 BGS with the Sonderwagen Recon. There was 5 tanks, M48s, and those units, all of them just went in the wrong order. The tanks went first, and after which the tanks went first and they got damaged. The BGS then started moving, and by the time the tanks were retreating, that's when the artillery struck. It's a little thing, and it's difficult in this game to achieve that tempo while also under pressure. But just honing those attacks a little bit, using those VLRAs to win those infantry fights early on. It's not that difficult to position the VLRA outside of enemy AT weapons range, even when the enemy has dragons, with the dragon range nerfed. So those fights could have gone pretty easily for the TKS player if those resources were taken advantage of. But still, very interesting to see the good unit compositions mixed with the bad micro. I think that also speaks to the increasing quality of all of our division players, even in Division 4. Because nobody was spamming like five-man stack attacks. Even the pretty modest three infantry squad attacks we saw in this game are a huge development from the old stuff.
Yeah, really solid play here from both sides, and I'm looking forward to game number 2. It's gonna be a fun one as well, with the matchup being 24th, which we haven't seen in a while, versus 101st Airborne, which has been buffed quite a bit. Kreide, a pretty fun map as well. I know Super Xavi does like that map quite a bit as well, so gonna be a fun one there too. So we're gonna move on to Kreide, where the fighting area is similarly big to Black Forest, but quite a bit of different terrain there as well. So quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back. Match number 2. Return. Game number 2 in Super Davi and Sneaky Kid. And as I said, 101st versus 24th is a pretty cool matchup, which we haven't seen all that often, if ever at all. Not sure if we ever seen this direct matchup. It's for sure not on this map, so this is going to be cool. And if you guys want to support the tournament, can do so as always via Matcherino. We already used up all the free codes. You guys have been absolutely amazing there, but you still can also contribute directly, like for example the amazing Master Yi, getting us up to $500. I'm currently looking for getting a Cold War uniform for the finals already. And if you want to have me playing in the 24 hours channel and stream again, and want to get me doing that absolute crazy thing again, you can get us all to $1,000, and then we will do that once more. So thanks for all the support. Money obviously goes to the players directly. We already have it split between Division 1 to 3 now. And yeah, thanks for all the support there. This really is one of the biggest prize pools we had in WARNO yet. And yeah, the group stage is still only halfway. So let's see where we can push this. And if you want to support this channel, obviously Twitch Primes and Twitch subscription go a long way. Same goes with YouTube channel memberships. Those help out quite a bit as well, worth a couple thousand views each. and only costing you like $5 or so, depending on which nation you're in. And yeah, that would really help out a lot. And yeah, obviously liking and subscribing if you don't want to spend money directly helps out as well with the algorithm and all. You know it, guys. So let's get back here. 24th on the left side. Bradley's on the way. And yeah, it's the cheap Bradley diff. That's what 24th is all about. And it's going to be interesting to see how well those IFVs will do in this matchup and how Super Xavi will deal with them.
Yeah, Sneaky got the second pick, so 24th was picked as a counter pick to Super Xavi's 101st, and we're already seeing a pretty strong, maybe a little bit of an overinvestment in an attack with both Deltas and a Green Beret ODA opening on Golf. Though, on the other hand, even if you buy those units there, you can just start moving them into the enemy flanks. So it's not like they're a waste. Deltas, of course, excellent in taking ground before your enemy gets there, but in this case, all of these Delta deployments outside of the middle are a little bit conservative. The one going on the left side of Charlie, I think that is proper like usage, especially with the upvetted Delta. So it should be going a little bit faster, I think, because it's a veterancy buff. The speed buff is a veterancy buff. Meanwhile, we have the pretty standard 101st opener with the OH58C/S with the AA helicopters. We even have a DAP. The DAP is going the long way. It's actually going sightseeing, the North German Baltic Sea. The most polluted sea in the world, by the way, the Baltic Sea. Fun fact. Aerotow 2's also maybe slight overkill here, considering how many Bradleys they're going to be facing, but you know, at least they get the one-shot kill. And Sneaky deploying defensively, basically everywhere. I would argue that the Bradley recon vehicle and the Bradley vehicle buys to Golf are bad. They are over expensive. The Bradley is not good in those close quarters. It's especially really bad against the Deltas, with the Deltas having a great long-range AT weapons and being special forces. OH58 getting shot down by a Humvee Delta, and Sneaky showing their hand, opening with two Phantom AAs. Pretty smart if you want to start strafing the enemy's planes. Pretty good if you get these OH58s early before they get any kills. Two of them already down. Suddenly, Sneaky having a pretty nice momentum here. Maybe the third. Not taking a third helicopter.
Bradley in the middle, in trouble though. Goes down. The other Deltas might find a Bradley as well here. Don't hit the first shot. Hit the second one though. So that Bradley down as well. Humvee Deltas, they're finishing it off. The National Guard fire team immediately stunned down by the Humvee Delta and the Delta team as well. So a lot of infantry here, a lot of ground forces already going down. The Chinook with the minigun trying to find some infantry. The DAB still coming around the side there. Humvee Delta dealing a decent amount of damage to the recon Bradley there as well, actually, with the 50 cal on the side shot. The Green Beret ODA will finish the job there in a second. So, yeah, a couple of helicopters going down for Super Xavi, but the amount of good ground units that he got kills on is way more important here, and this is a pretty good strong start for our French player on the right side.
Yeah, so the Bradley investment, both the infantry and the recon, as I said, complete waste. Really bad for 24th to open, losing that many points. Now, Sneaky Kid is buying 2 more Bradley infantries to counter-attack Golf. I just gotta say, that's probably not the best usage of the infantry. I mean, yeah, get some
yeah,
Launcher
Super
Squad.
Xavi also lucky with the airfight here, winning an Eagle on Eagle action, getting the kill there without losing his, even though the other one, I believe, shot first, so Han Solo didn't win this time around. And UH60A, because he obviously shot. And UH60A here coming in versus Charlie. And yeah, moving towards Bravo next.
Yeah, like the one Bradley with the fire team is it's what 110 points. Like 220 points are really powerful, really, really good in many situations, but just going blindly against helicopters and special forces infantry. The DAPs alone, the Special Forces 3-vet DAP, has incredible accuracy with the 30 millimeter cannon, and the 30 millimeter can pierce these things. The sneaky is just it's just a bad buy. Should consider more consider and play more passively. Instead, maybe reinforce the middle with Foxtrot, because that's it's more likely that there's going to be fighting that Sneaky actually can start pushing back either to Charlie or Delta, and sending stuff on Golf just it's not the move in this matchup, I don't think.
Yeah, and Bradleys are IFVs that want to fight other vehicles. They're decent against infantry. They have a pretty good 25mm Bushmaster, but they're pretty lightly armored, and they pay a lot extra for their ATGM. So they want to get to use that ATGM, and this is not really the matchup where they can do this. So cost efficiency is not there. And then if you also just start losing them without getting any damage out of them at all, then the cost efficiency obviously is even less there. And Bashavi here now in a +4 situation. Could even push Foxtrot. Hasn't quite realized that yet, but has killed everything in front of there. The dab gets one more Bradley before it goes down. That's obviously not a great way to let the dab run in there, but it still at least got one more kill and slows down Sneaky Kid's push towards Gulf, where the Delta and the Green Beret ODA still hold a strong spot. And the reinforcements for the Bravo point coming in as well with a Toe Cobra. So the push of Sneaky Kid in there won't be easy either. Humvee Delta here once more opening up in the middle. The 50 cal, as I said, actually dealing pretty good damage from the special forces against the Bradleys and pushing it back once more.
Yeah, there's an infantry attack with the Bradleys going in now to is it Bravo? I can't see that. Yeah, Bravo, the northernmost post. And even though the Deltas are not in a perfect position, they are going to take out the Bradley now, and they have the complete capacity to just move back into the forest. And even then, the Bradley is actually moving on firing range. The Carl Gustav is so good here.
Yeah, Carl Gustav getting another shot out, getting another route. The Toe Cobra in the north already stand down the Bradley. Bradley did smoke off for now, but likely gonna go down soon. Another Toe 2 coming up. There are a couple of fire teams there, but the Deltas and the snipers are way better infantry, so they likely gonna hold that off for a while as well. Supply coming in. 2 Toe 2s coming in for Super Xavi as well. Maybe a bit overkill, quite expensive units, but next Recon Bradley goes down. Humvee Delta with the 50 cal moving up here now to give fire support, and that one can do a decent amount of damage as well. Cobra gonna go down there to the Phantom. No F-15 in the sky yet to deal with the Phantom, but the Humvee Delta might even just kill off the CV before it can get into the zone here now. Dealing good amount of damage there. Fire Team 84 not in position just yet. Phantom comes in. Okay, does stun it down. Might keep the National Guard Fire Team leader alive. No, it does start moving back there. Fire Team 84 only now getting around. Okay, just saving it last second. Fire Team 84 in the middle, fighting Delta's close quarters. That's not going to work out either. And yeah, the elite infantry here just doing a lot of work for Super Xavi all over the map.
Yeah, look at down south. The Humvee Delta has a free reign over 2 infantry squads, destroying a fire team already and now taking out a second one. These are just the sneaky, like playing 24th, you need to, it's very defensive division. So if you're gonna attack, especially attack against like light infantry aggro, you need to be decisive. You need to start out building a mechanized blob with the Abramses, the M1 IPs, and the Bradleys, and the Chaparrals, and all of this stuff. You want to open the game by playing passively and then growing and growing that fire support force, because then 5 to 10 minutes in, you're going to have a momentary supremacy before your enemy has gotten every one of their Apaches up, before they have their Abrams and their TOW 2. That's when you can just overpower them with the numbers provided to you by the NG Bradleys. And then when they try to counterattack, you're going to have a bunch of Bradleys around, and they can't counterattack on long range against Bradleys. The best defensive vehicle. But what we're seeing here from Sneaky Kid is that they're just buying and sending these Bradleys out there into the jungle unprotected, and it's a huge points loss. So Subeksavi doesn't get punished for having like relatively thin front lines, as we can see everywhere here. We have a single Delta and single Humvee pushing Foxtrot. We have like still the two opener special forces squads holding Golf, and like the Deltas and the snipers held out the northern position for such a long time. Any of these positions with enough dedicated buying and early attacks.
National Guard Abrams getting stunned down in the middle. M1IP needs to move forward now. Can find another easy kill there. The Deltas around Foxtrot get overwhelmed. The F-15 Eagle of Super Savi came around, only pushed one Phantom back. The Phantoms of Sneaky at least being used for the strafing runs after being used earlier to kill off helicopters, so that's a good job there. We see some chaparrals coming around. The AA that WARNO first gets on the ground is not amazing. You only get chaparrals and Stinger teams. And the M1 National Guard Abrams does stay alive. They're Super Savvy not following it up. That could have been such an easy kill on the tank. And another shifting moment with the M1IP maybe even pushing deeper. But maybe he was worried about the Apache. I believe he has spotted it. And overinvests like 6 Stinger teams coming up. Yeah. Division 6 4 moment there. Maybe overspending too much into one category. I would have liked 3. I would have liked 4 Stingers. 6 Stingers might be a bit overdoing it. Coming in a mule with a 50 cal on top, which at least can give a bit of fire support as well. Chaparral and Dab coming around for the National Guard Apache here. And yeah, that Apache might be in trouble. Does stay alive for now. Dab not quite getting the kill there. Okay, Apache getting the hell out of there. And yeah, Humvee CP gets the capture back on. Have an M109 trying to get shots towards the quick fix, which is flying low, so can get hit there, I believe. If you hit it directly, yeah, there we go. Quick fix gets killed off. And Bradley might get the Dab this time around. Ooh, Dab with some good hits. Bradley's not good hitting so well anymore and actually gets killed off. Dab autocannon here doing a fantastic job against the Fireteam Dragon as well. Finds another Bradley too. 50 cal. Should stop the next push here. Yeah, this is the issue of 24th. You can't really push easily with that division. Bradleys are not good at pushing. 6-man fire teams are not good at pushing. You need to do it a different way. With M1IPs or with the engineer squads. And the forces that were used here by Sneaky Kid, not quite the right ones for the job.
Yeah, the last 2 Delta members in the southern area still just taking out Bradleys left and right with their superior aiming speed, just immediate superior aiming speed. Now missing one shot, maybe the Bradley actually can get a kill here. No, but it's on low cohesion, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, National Guard Bradley goes down. CP gets into the middle here. M1IP sitting around there. Sneaky Kid now on a bit of a push. Loses another Bradley in the south towards the Deltas though. Green Beret ODA there still without any action yet. National Guard fire teams now pushing towards it. Double Stinger team coming up. We have a couple more helicopters here on the side of Sneaky Kid. But now with the Stingers around, that should be something that Super Shavi can deal with. So the M1IP coming up here for the middle. And we have a Phantom HE coming in as well. The only support unit you have in that deck from the air tap. And it tries to hit the Mud CP, does hit the wrong spot, but gets a H1 Hawk out in the way out. Fireteam Law and the fireteam leader get the kill onto an M1IP. Should have used some recon with that, but kill happens nonetheless here. CP still alive in the middle, so the +1 only right now for Super Savi as the Mud CP finally captures Golf as well. The Green Beret ODA there haven't gotten involved yet. Only shot some 84 rounds so far, but didn't push out the fire teams. The Apache there could be hunted down by the Stingers and the Mules as well. As we have 55 cal support here against the engineers and fire teams of Sneaky Kid. Phantom coming around. Green Beret finally gets pushed and will light up the fire team Law here in no time. 14-man squad with special forces, veteran C, sniper rifle, and 2 MGs. Fire team is just completely annihilated. And
Oh no, the second one. Sneaky getting a huge bounty there, sinking the Chinook with the second ODA squad.
yeah, but the Phantom HE here, hunting the Phantom AA with the Vulcan Cannon, and the good amount of ammo on the Vulcan Cannon, allowing the kill. Apache goes down as well, so yeah, the Green Beret kill was nice, but the kills for Super Xavi were nicer. And Super Xavi's Green Berets now should be able to clean it up. M1IP coming around here as well. Maybe not the right spot for it, but should help out cleaning this up, getting it back, getting the tick back online with the UH-60 Blackhawk CV coming in here. And with that, the point tick should continue. Already 900 points on the line. Phantom HE dropped its bombs, should go back home. Does so now. We have a couple of little birds coming around here as well as infantry cleanup jobs. And the National Guard fire team leader there gets found, will get lit up by the miniguns and the gals, and will get annihilated there in a split second as well. Bradley pushing forward, M1IP already on the way there, and Charlie will get captured by the blue side, but the red team has golf now, so the tick will go back here once more. Bradley gets annihilated by the gals, and yeah, the cost efficiency here just on the side of Super Xavi.
Yeah, and once again, another attack getting bought by Sneaky Kid to go into golf after getting absolutely ruined by a single ODA, and it's Abrams' friend. Like this is just Sneaky. You don't need all of the zones. You need to win the game. You don't need to keep on sending stuff to hold Boris, and then also send stuff to hold Golf. Attack either one of those. Like both of them give you new lines of attack, and both of them could be overpowered with some pretty nice Bradley combined arms going with some airplanes and artillery. But now the artillery is going to be spread too thin to both sides, and you're locking yourself into fights where the enemy division 101st is going to reinforce faster because all of your stuff is coming in on Bradleys that are slow, and all of their stuff is coming on Humvees or helicopters.
Yeah, M1IP is moving up here now. M1IP CV coming around as well. Bradley's pushing once more, and as I said before, Bradleys are terrible at pushing. National Guard fire teams are terrible at pushing. Those are just not the right units to do it for the 24th. Two more Bradleys going down here. They're okay at pushing if they have an M1IP or a National Guard M1 Abrams in front of them, but they just can't tank shots, neither from tank guns nor from ATGMs. And they are way too expensive to risk them. They're not BMP 1s. So, again, M1IP here gets hit pretty hard, is pushed back by the Bradley. Apache coming around as well, but there is an F-15 already out for that one. So, the Apache is in big trouble. Gets hit pretty hard. Does survive for now, as the Eagle doesn't hit any of its AIM-9Ms. Phantom here coming around right behind the Eagle. Good maneuver there from Super Xavi. Trying to turn it around, but gets hit one time and gets killed off. Good kill from Sneaky Kid. And the M1IP here gets into the middle. The northern zone likely is going to hold here for Super Xavi. Sniper rifles and Abrams holding out. Delta still in the forest. So that should go pretty easy, but is under pressure a bit in the middle. And he could use a bit more infantry here again.
Yeah, once again, with not enough investment for the losses to hurt, but not enough investment to actually break through. Aircraft troopers getting destroyed by Humvee grenade launchers on open ground. Abrams getting attacked by Bradleys on long ranges, which is inherently pretty bad for the Bradleys because there's
Strike
a defensive.
Eagle also now got a kill against the M1IP in the middle. Good kill there. Strike Eagle finally around. Might find another Abrams here. That would be big. Gets a second Abrams. That's why you want to have some air superiority as 101st. Strike Eagle here getting through. Can get out now and can reload. Will be back in 4-minute time for some more kills. And double M1 kill is the best you could hope for here with those bomb drops. So really maximum value here from Sneaky Kid. Already paid off with that bomber. And from one moment to another, Super Xavi's frontline here looks a lot weaker. But
Yeah,
we
and
have a surrender here from Sneaky Kid. I guess realizing that they maybe didn't have enough time here because the tick was still going on for Super Savvy. 1,300 points on Kreider are quite a bit. And they were behind, but I felt like was maybe a bit early on the surrender here. Nonetheless, Super Savvy gets the second game.
I think there might have been. I was watching the fight in the south, and there was the infantry fire team dragons were moving in on attacking the golf position, and when moving in, they spotted on defense in an M1A1 M1 IP with 250 cal mules supporting it. And even though they managed to, that didn't like the fighting didn't start, but I think just seeing that and maybe counting in my head how many Bradleys had already been lost. I think there just wasn't that much in the infantry tab backing up the sneaky kids attacks. And yeah, I've been saying this, and I will repeat what I said earlier. Those attacks could have worked if they had been concentrated. You can't fight wide when you're the heavier division. You have to. You're trading away some points to gain time to scale up a mechanized force so large that the lighter division's mechanized forces can compete. And the Strike Eagle, for instance, in any of those attacks, either south or north or middle, the Strike Eagle could fix any one of those attacks. But if all of those attacks were so mediocre because they weren't properly invested in, those victories are not going to be strategically relevant. And I think that's what we saw there.
Yeah, really, games well played from both sides, but Xavi here at least getting a point on the board again, now with 2 draws. So we'll need a win to make it out of the group stage in one of the upcoming matches. Best 2 games wins there to get closer to that. But yeah, good points there in Division 4 for both of these players. And that means we're gonna move on to Division 2 now. Adler versus Golden Panzer next. First season of WARNO League for Adler, who has been around in the war game and Eugen community in general for a long time. So pretty excited for that. And Golden Panzer, veteran of Division 1, now moved back to Division 2 once more and has to fight his way back up there. Gonna be interesting. Quick break, guys. We're gonna be back with that one. We go into Division 2 action, everybody. Division 2, Golden Panzer versus Adler. And this should be a pretty fun one, as we have 11th versus 11th. 11th ACAF versus 11th Parachutist. And oh boy, are these setups interesting. As this is a really, really aggressive 11th ACAF opener, including some aircaf troopers. And that might make you think the A in ACAF stands for aircaf, but it stands for armored calf. This is not what you're supposed to do with this deck. You're supposed to play it more around Bradleys, around M1A1 CPs. But yeah, this is a way to play it as well. OH versus Celtics is going to be interesting as well. The Celtics have the advantage. They have a bit more range. But yeah, could go either way nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, the 11th 11E on this map here. Chandra, we've talked about this, seems to be quite a slow map. Doesn't offer you any 2-point zones, any important, crucial headquarter zones that you could maybe try to push through to. Instead, you have just this wide front line. But on the other hand, wide front line means that there's a bunch of entry points that need to be protected. And this gives you an inherent close range attacker's advantage, especially early on. And if you can send your gazelles and get some important information, maybe you can secure 2 out of the 4 enemy zones in the opener. Now, whether you can actually keep those zones, completely different question. But I think that is why Golden Panzer here is going in and aggroing with the helicopters and the recon. They want to be there and they want to prevent the enemy from landing. All of these zones are decently easy to defend with mech and tanks and your Bradleys, your Marders, if you just can live through the forward deployment opener. And that is what I think Golden Panzer is risking this on. OH-58s are nice because there is absolutely going to be gazelles and airplanes. The aircraft troopers, pretty decent, especially if there are American fighters protecting these, which I think is also likely. I think that gives the Black Hawks kind of a use case early on in trying to counter the forward deployment.
Yeah, I'm just a bit worried that the numbers here are just maybe a bit too low on the ground here. With there being a lot of fire support, a lot of infantry, 20mm autocannons and so on the side of Adler here with the forward deployment coming in. And we have a joke coming out of Adler here. I'm not gonna tell it. You guys can read it. Yeah, my voice is not going to get the Adele one right now. But yeah, Filterführungs here moving in.
It's a decent joke. I was expecting something worse from a war game Red Dragon player, nonetheless. I mean, the fact that it's not sexist is just an insane thing.
Neither has to do with Putin, nor with F-35s, nor with homoerotic scenes. So
could still do something about furries. I don't know. Deployments here. Interestingly, the helicopters with the Kiowa Warrior leading are moving kind of southeast from Golden Panzer's direction, with way less forces in the northern area.
Yeah, the iHawk there from the get-go. CV, I think, is a great addition into this fight. Moving north, but could be helpful either way. Gazelle Celtics here coming along, getting some good kills, killing the Kiowa Warrior and some airborne aircraft troopers as well. Second Black Hawk here gets caught out as well. OH comes around in time, kills one Celtic. One OH goes down. One Celtic coming closer here, gets killed off as it runs out of ammo, but the aircraft troopers here losing their Black Hawk. Black Hawks at least are a bit cheaper nowadays, so this wasn't quite as expensive, but still pretty pricey. OH versus Celtic here in the middle, both going down. So only one OH surviving out of all the helicopters and one Black Hawk in the far south. So that's not perfect, and the amount of chasseurs and so on now in here, this is really problematic. Golden Panzer losing 2 of the aircraft trooper units, and yeah, with the 20mm fire support forward deployment, this is going pretty well so far for Adler. Going up to a +1 right now and pushing towards the Bravo point. Needs to get in there. More aircraft troopers here now on the way to reinforce that southern hill. Blackhawk at least will kill off one 7mm MG most likely here in the south, continuously firing on it. Then can sell out maybe. But yeah, Bradley's here in the middle. Will have a lot of work cut out for them. Need to be careful with Milan 2s around everywhere. As I said, I like the CEV a lot. This one now moving towards the south as well. CEVs, I think, can do a lot of harm in this matchup, but it's not going to be easy here for Golden Panzer to stabilize.
Yeah, all the reinforcements are routed on Alpha, but the attack seems to be going in on Bravo. Now, the Bradley is at least moving into a proper position to fire at these Legionnaires from long ranges. Oh, but there's a Milan card that might tries to pop a shot off. So far, Golden Panzer seems to be willing to play this slowly and defensively, buying in more BGS Strifer, Engineer's Dragon in slow transports, and CEV. Just thinking that they can maybe outlast the close range fighting. Importantly, nobody is trying to approach the Legionnaires. Nobody's trying to get leave the zones or get into the close range territories up there on the hill. They're all just waiting and building up a fire support force to kind of expecting the paratroopers to move in. This is the correct play from Golden Panzer's side, I think. I don't know about the positioning yet. Of course, the positioning hasn't happened, but so being passive is the right call, I think.
Yeah, and BGS Strifer moving in here now in the middle, trying to find some optics there. One M1A1 ACAF coming around long term, that could be really helpful as well. The other Blackhawks being sold. One remaining one gets shut down by the Pamela. And in the north, Bradley and the BGS Strifer trying to find out if there's maybe nothing at all there. There is a bit there though. There is a 20mm, there is a P4 Milan, so the Bradley has to be careful. And the Eclairs spotting the BGS Strifer, so that will go down. And M109 there pushing up north. That's a bit surprising as well. There's really little for Golden Panzer there as well, so I'm not quite sure what Golden Panzer tries to figure out there really. BGS Strifer being pushed back now, and the push towards Bravo and or Alpha is going to be the interesting one. If Adler can get a couple more points here, 200 points is a nice start, but you want at least a couple hundred more here over the next couple of minutes to get a decent lead, and then maybe play on from there, or maybe just grind the enemy down in these fights around the hill.
Yeah, looking at reinforcements from Adler, all of them are going to keep up the attack on Southwest. So Golden Panzer's passivity here, even Golden Panzer buying an artillery pretty early on, just a good buy, I think, considering there's going to be series and series of very powerful infantry squads attacking on close range. Now, Chasseur Para are getting taken out by a bad engagement. The aircraft troopers have an extra machine gun and an extra veterancy, and they're on defense, so they probably fired first. And Chasseur Para have to run off, getting routed, almost getting routed. Golden Panzer already buying a bunch of supply, and even more Engineer's Dragon going out and kind of pre-preparing for the for an infantry attack on Delta. That's nowhere near happening as of this point.
Yeah, LRS getting attacked there in the center. M1 or A1 ACAF coming around here. A bit too late maybe. LRS now disengaging. Okay, but Bradley helping out, getting a good stun out there. Might be able to get the kill. As the M1 A1 ACAF is out of range now. Autocannon can do the job. So decent kill there. LRS disengaging. Legionnaire Para coming around from the side. Has an Apilas, so the Bradley needs to be super careful there. Gets in range, gets taken out, and 1A1 ACAF still has to be careful there. The EVs rotating around. Hawk coming up. More recon infantry coming around. And as you said, I like the M109 a lot as well. That can be pretty helpful here. Power Marine, Eric's, the cheaper fighters, and a couple of other nice buffs lately really helped out making the 11th Para a good bit stronger again, getting a new recon unit that is quite powerful as well. And yeah, the Para Erics here moving in. Dice can deal a lot of damage against the M1A 1A cap as well with the 1050 meter range. And the P4 PC now coming in to try to grab the point, try to get the take back online. Golden Panzer has to start finding some shots for his artillery, start getting those value shots out and starting to get the KD into his favor.
Yeah, so the P4 leader and a bunch of the Paramarine Erics is now moving in to officially capture Bravo and push up the tick. And with the BGS Strifer landing here and with a Hog, a bunch of vehicles, including the CEV, M113 getting shot down, but now Hawk targeting the Legionnaire Para might actually end up being in Golden Panzer's favor. I think I would happily trade a 25-point transport vehicle to kill an elite 3-vet Legionnaire Para.
LGB only finds a 7mm MG. Tried to actually hit the Para, I believe, if the line was correct, but the bomb somehow flew off and only killed that MG. The Milan one gets another kill. Our Mistral up there did a decent amount of damage. The M109 is finally aiming for the center for the Paramarine Erics there. And as I said, I would like to see second M109 here maybe. M113 Dragons under fire. CEVs here. I like a lot. Helping out against the Paramarine Erics. Supply units not yet here for Adler, so those hits are permanent for now. There comes the supply trucks. Marine Erics in the middle, under fire, gets damaged. 109 positioning, needs to find a new spot. Marine Erics pushed back for now. You still need to find a way of maybe getting enough units around to really push through there as Golden Panzer to actually get some kills again. Hawk.
Golden Panzer, another great infantry engagement happening in southwest, even before the CEV has engaged. One of the Legionnaire Para has already been shot down to half health.
And the CEV rotation here, strong move. As long as you keep them on a decent distance, they can swing those fights quite a bit. Gets a good hit there. The Legionnaire Para number 2 is in a better spot, so the CEV has a bit of a tougher time there. Rotating around against the 7mm MG now, though. Can one-shot kill that. It tries to disengage. We have an LGB around for Adler. We have a Mirage above everything as well. Hawk coming around, but not quite getting shot out. The Hawk was open there. Get killed off. The Legionnaire Paras disengaging for now. The Sirs on the engagement. CV has to be careful to not eat any major hits there. LGB gets pushed back. McRuffled Dragons do go down to the bomb. That's the Hawk. Under fire by again by the Mirage 2000. Not sure why Golden Panzer moved it around like that. Hawk not able to find a hit this time around. M109. We have a weird movement here. Okay, re-aiming now on the Para SAS. Assur's Paras get pushed back here. The holding in the buildings is a great idea from Golden Panzer. Kev moving around will find the 7mm. Gets a decent hit. Likely gonna be able to finish it off. The Para SAS gonna go down there as well. The Sir Para in the north rotating around. We have 400 points now. That is a decent lead here for Adler, and he will get a couple more points here, but the zones are getting captured back, and currently Golden Panzer is only getting kills.
Yeah, Golden Panzer trading very, very well. Successfully contained the French into this one forested hill, and every basically leaving position, every entry point into the forest or out of the forest has been covered by CEVs, and there just are no units that can effectively counter that. You could maybe get some of the Sagais, the vehicles of the French, and try to get them attack the CEVs head on, but the CEV has 12 armor and the Sagai only penetrates at 15 on max range, so even that is kind of inefficient. Though the CEV doesn't have a smoke though.
Yeah, what I don't quite get is why Adler is not doing some real line shenanigans here. Like, I feel like 11th ACAF kind of has to do that. They are a speed division. They are a division that can play a bit wider than the enemy with annoying helicopters movement, with the Sagais moving around the flank. And currently he is playing pretty head-on, losing a Mirage 2000 there. Got an F-16 at least. Didn't quite get the Ihawk. Power Marine Eric's going down again. The M109s continue generating value here. Second one would be pretty lovely. We have another CAF coming around. We have an M1A1 coming up. And the infantry here is somewhat low in numbers long term for 11th ACAF, but the ones they get is okay at fighting. So the situation for now is pretty fine in that regard as well. So yeah, the hill position for now does hold, but once we have 3-4 M1A1s here, and once you can start just pushing around, killing 3-4 units, moving back, resupplying, doing it again, then 11th ACAF here will just be able to turn on the grinder, and that's the moment where it gets really, really scary here for the 11th ACAF para, and that's the big problem here. LGB finds a kill against the Sagai in the south, doesn't get killed off on its own, and will be able to fly back home. There is a Gazelle Hot here moving around towards the CV, but there's a Stinger on the way as well. Next M1A1 gets bought. Currently, game is really slow, and I feel like that favors long-term Golden Panzer.
Yeah, absolutely, Golden Panzer. Every second here is just life and happiness for Golden Panzer. And yeah, I would also like to take into account there is a complete covered forest road path for like P4 Milans to get into the like to get the Milans into the reinforcement roads. Nobody is covering them, and I think that is mainly because of inexperience on this map, but also nobody is exploiting them. Like, come on, you're 11E player. You're at this point, 15 minutes in, 11E in this position and in many positions risks basically complete stagnation. They don't have the mechanized forces or the support equipment to keep up these big fights. Even their great Chasseur Para, Legionnaire Para, and Paramarine, you get those guys out there to a Hog and an artillery cannon and a CEV fires at them, and there's nothing.
By the
And
way,
all of
great
those...
reaction here from Golden Panzer. Spotting the P4 PC moving in, BGS Strifer spotted it, and immediately reaction with the M109. Already gets fire on, likely gonna get the P4 PC killed here. Yes, gets the kill there, really big. Stinger gets the Gazelle hot as well. CEV has to move back. The BGS Strifer in a really good spot up there. And the infantry in the buildings does hold out pretty well. The CEV is currently stunned down, so might want to wait a second here before taking the engagements against the infantry. But with enough aircraft troopers and engineers here in buildings, he should be able to win this, especially if he can get a Hawk or the M109 involved into these fights as well.
Yeah, the thing about the Hog and the M109 on this map, especially against infantry attacks, is that they can move. They have the kind of flexibility that the infantry attack just doesn't. And looking at Adler's attacks here, there are a bunch of mortars around that could function as smoke mortars, and probably will do that at some point. But even if you smoked out Golden Panzer's infantry to the point where the Chasseur Para could get in to the shock distance, close range, close the gap, etc., etc., that would just mean that they would get into the CEVs could still engage. The CEVs just and rest of the vehicles could just move a few hundred meters back and still keep the fight up. So there is really just not that much of a future for the southwestern infantry attack, I don't think. The attack on the middle is a different thing because it can come from different directions. And removing some key units with an airstrike maybe, or a lucky ATGM hit, I think could maybe change it, but the southwestern attack, I don't think it's happening.
And yeah, CEV moving around here. M1A1 will find the P4 Milans in the south as well. No, the BGS strife actually got removed, so the M1A1 maybe in a bit of trouble. Yeah, engaging the Kuma Kangaroo, that's a nice find nonetheless, but the M1A1 here should smoke off in a second, move back, CEV, gets out of there alive. M1A1 will get out of there alive as well. Needs some resupply again, but find some value. LGB coming along for the northern run, and as a good amount of planes have been killed off on the other side. Don't think the LGB is in any hurry here. Loses line of sight there. Has to find a new target. Can't find it in this run. Bit of a mismanagement there by Golden Panzer. Could have known that. Mirage 2000 now allowed to get in, so life gets risky actually now for the LGB. Will come in for the Sagai. Doesn't get hit so far. Mirage 2000, not the best missiles. And it only gets one hit in. One Sagai goes down. And the F-16 gets out. F-16C gets a hit. Mirage will move back. Yes, the artillery moves around. The source here, moving through the south as well. M901, A109 tries to find some hits, and once more, slightly better trades for Golden Panzers. They are currently not great, but they are slightly better. And the 11 Para has more units on the battlefield, but they just don't have a great long game combined arms. And it's still 20 minutes to go, and Golden Panzer is starting to make a bit of headway in the north. ATGM vehicles here from the side, trying to find some value here. The Iltis Führungs has to disengage. The Chasseur Para that got behind the lines there is a pretty nice one. Might find the Iltis Führungs kill. Can't do so just yet. Hawk coming around. LRS finding some value. M1A1 did disengage. Next M109 comes around, and the combined arms just getting better and better here. Big push once more from Adler in the south, but this should be defensible for Golden Panzer.
Yeah, it's a CEVs are can just move up and down behind the village, and if you have them on a hunt command, they will stop at these little slivers and just open fire. And at that point, on those ranges and with that line of sight, the French can't really do anything about it. The Paramilans are nowhere near in position, and this is once again, I think this is an inexperienced thing. I think people playing Chandra further on later will learn that there's actually a bunch of space for Adler to attack those tanks. They need to move and do like a flanking attack via the forest. They need to have those P4 Milans or ERC 90s go up there and shoot them in the back armor. It's not even like there's so much space. I think that's quite realistic.
A10 makes it out alive. H1F Hawk getting onto the chasseurs. But the M1A1 at least got hit by the LGB. Got taken out there. We have a good amount of Cav and M1A1s here still in the south. We have the infantry of Golden Panzer now moving forward. Two M113s there being a bit wasted. The M113s in general being a bit wasted here. The 50 cal fire support not really doing all that much. M109's now coming around with some fire support again, as all his infantry is pushing forward. The Cavs are moving around as well, trying to find some line of sights. One CV goes down against the Erics. Second one not finding a line of sight just yet. F-16 trying to kill off the Mirage, trying to enable the airplay here. Does not get a hit with the Sparrows, and can't finish it with the AM9Ms as well. F-16 trying to do it with the gun, likely not going to do it in time. Artillery here gets some decent hits, but currently mostly infantry engaging there for Golden Panzer. His Iltis Führung also coming in a bit late. Gave a good amount of points here to Adler again. 200 points or so being given to the player in red again, and that is pretty important on a map like this, where the stick usually is pretty slow, and where getting to the enemy points isn't easy. So Adler's chances here have improved a good bit. M109 number 2 engaging again. The first one should immediately re-aim onto something here as well, as the CEV is moving on its own now through the forest there. M109 will land some more good hits here against chasseurs and paramarines, so the engineer dragons there will have an easier time. The CEVs, mech rifle dragons and so on moving around there as well. And if you win the open field here, then the push towards Echo should be quite easy. The northern situation though, currently not great there for Golden Panzer. He tried to push, but he maybe had a bit too little there doing that push with, and now Adler with the cheaper division, with the division that can throw around units a bit easier around the place, now has the superior forces in the north, and could maybe threaten Delta there.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Chasseur Para being already in Delta and basically working as a de facto map control or cutting off enemy reinforcements, that is exactly what Adler should be doing here. Just get onto Delta. Golden Panzer's too scared to even deploy into that zone. And yeah, there's going to be an ACAV and a Bradley get sent out there, but even they are deploying so far away. They're actually deploying to Charlie. And Golden Panzer might maybe be whiffing this, but oh no, actually Adler is not moving anywhere. So those reinforcements engineers might actually get in there on time.
M109 trying to find some kills here. Bravo now being captured. Adler keeps on getting points here. And Golden Panzer is not finding a way of threatening reinforcement lines, not finding a way to making this game mobile and actually forcing Adler to take engagements in spots where he doesn't want to take it. The push in the north was an attempt, but that was a bit of a misguided one, and now stretching him a bit thinner than he might want to be. I feel like he should have just overwhelmed Adler in the south and then pushed through to Echo, trying to make the game wide, just played in the hands of 11th Para, and Adler now actually in a surprisingly good spot with the amount of value the Erics here achieved in the middle, really showing how much of a game changer that weapon was for this division. Without the Erics, the amount of value that he was able to generate around Bravo really wouldn't have been possible. M109's here trying to find some more kills, and they really should fire constantly the next 16 minutes. There shouldn't be a single second where they're not re-aiming onto something here. As they try to find some Milan 2 kills, they try to find some kills against Legionnaire Para. They are not really killing off units right now, though. They should always fire together on one to finish it off so that they can't be repaired. That's a bit of an issue here right now for Golden Panzer, that he only damages Adler's units, but allows Adler to have the initiative, and then Adler can disengage, can repair, and can come back a second later. And he did a better job a couple of minutes ago, where he just kept on getting kills after kills. He once more gets a good couple here now, but he needs to get more than 260 points killed per minute, and he's currently far away from that. And that plays absolutely into Adler's cards right now, especially with the point situation being what it is right now. And Golden Panzer once more missing out on getting Bravo back here, capture-wise. And this is just absolutely devastating. This +3 is a big issue right now, because how do you get 1,000 points as Golden Panzer at this stage? It's not going to be easy. You need a +4 basically at this point, which means you need Foxtrot and Echo and cleaning up your own side. And this is going to be really tough.
Yeah, a rare situation where having a multi-launching rocket artillery would actually be pretty worthwhile to drive in over the forests. But yeah, we're seeing the infantry reinforcements, the engineer reinforcements going to Delta and finding out that Adler had not pressured at all despite all of those kills. Adler being confident that just holding Bravo and Southwest is enough here, which so far it might. Golden Panzer has a lot of units here, and with just maybe moving a few, with a command tank coming in on, where is it going? Oh, yeah, it is going in the middle. I'm afraid that Golden Panzer might just want to frontline this, just keep on building the tanks into a front line and try to fight the Erixes on range, which is sensible, of course. Erixes have very bad range, but I think the way to go here would be to attack in the southeast, to just bypass the enemy in the hill, in the forest, get a mech force going, and try to threaten Echo. If you can get on Echo, if you can have vehicles on Echo, all those Paramarines around Bravo and Alpha are not going to be able to do anything about it. So you're going to force Adler into an inconvenient situation and maybe even cut off their reinforcement. Now, that is the kind of risky gameplay you need to do. 14 minutes left and 1,200 points down, I think.
Yeah, the recon situation here is not great. Really, Golden Panzer wasted his combined arms on that push in the north, and didn't play for his already strong point in the south. Didn't maybe realize how strong his position there was after all those fights. And now he doesn't have a recon, he can't push with his calves, his M1A1 didn't follow this up, and the Milans can just hold him back there. He doesn't have anything for to push with in the north either, and the +2 does continue, and I just don't see a way here for Golden Panzer to turn this around, even though he played so well through the first half here. and Adler did play a good position game with the opener. Didn't get the best trades really, but Golden Panzer never punished him for it, and that's the big mistake here. And if you don't punish the fast division, then you just gonna lose the game, because you're never gonna get the movement going. You're never gonna get the flexibility that you want to just get kills after kills after kills, to move them into spots where they have to give up space, where they have to feel uncomfortable. Like, Adler is continuously losing units, but he's not losing ground, and with 12 minutes on the clock, he's gonna be super happy with a 1300-point lead. And yep, there's just no time here for Golden Panzer. Golden Panzer wasted his opportunities, and now is pretty cooked here.
Yeah, I mean, defensive gameplay is all fine and well unless it engenders passivity. And the passivity that we saw being so good and allowing Golden Panzer to trade amazingly in the first half, and just kind of had Golden Panzer stuck. And yeah, now you finally moved the leader into Bravo, but where are you going to go here? Your front line is a bunch of ATGMs and recon vehicles, and even recon ATGMs. Just a very impractical place to try to get a breakthrough.
Yeah, VBL Milan here, getting a shot against the M1A1, might even be a side shot. Doesn't get a hit there, as the M1A1 ACAF is continuously moving around. Sagai being the next one to get a shot out here. 1A1 does spot it, will finish it off, but next CV moves in into the south, and he never cleared out the forest. He never got to the reinforcement roads, and that's really how you have to play it as 11th Para ACAF. You have to stop 11th Para from getting back into that zone. Maybe even leave a couple of infantry units there behind, but if they can't reinforce them, if they can't resupply them, then what are these infantry units going to do? Sorry, it was a long week there, guys. And yeah, the P4PC here moving around in the south, but you're just not gonna achieve anything if you play to the enemy's strengths, if you fight forest fight after forest fight with a division that isn't about forest fights, with a division that is about M1A1s, controlling the open fields, shooting down enemy light vehicles, shooting down enemy ATGMs before they can get a hit on you, because you have 2-3 of them around at the same time. You won the air war here as Golden Panzer as well, and you keep on getting killed, but it's only 10 minutes on the clock, and it's a map where you can't get a +8 or so in the last couple of minutes. Best you can hope for is a +4, and that just even wouldn't be enough anymore. So Golden Panzer is in big trouble.
Yeah, it's the fact that Golden Panzer has allowed for another infantry incursion to get back into the southern zone. Like, there's a bunch of space around here. You can have your units move around that space. You can put your Abramses. You can try to regain ground. Like the one P4 Milan that is in position to hurt something here has run out of missiles a long time ago, and Adler hasn't even bothered to resupply it because the CEVs have been so. And now the CEVs are actually moving, not moving. The BGS drive is moving. The CEVs were moving that into that direction, into that open ground where they could dodge most of the points on defense. But the Abrams is moving in there. There is no command Abrams here, unfortunately. So dipping into Echo is going to have to be done in a different way.
Yeah, and the infantry still can reinforce into that central forest. Like, that's the big issue, that the crossroad in front of that forest is still absolutely open, that he never got to the buildings in between to get some ATGMs of his own maybe around, to get some infantry in there and cut off the enemy resupply. And if the enemy can resupply into the forest and then spread out from the forest, you are in big trouble. Like, this is 11th Para's wet dream, this kind of forest fight. Where the Erixes, where the Abilas can come out from time to time, get some shots out. The P4 Milans now going down, and a lot of the Power Marines have been shot up many times, have been repaired afterwards, but a good couple of them still died. It's just that it doesn't matter. It's the 1,400-point lead, and it's a big misplay here from Golden Panzer. I liked his basic fighting, but yeah, it was the better execution in the end when it came to the win condition on this map, and specifically from Adler. And yeah, just showing the veterancy of Adler in playing Eugen games, knowing how to win a game, not doing it clean, not doing it beautifully, because he knows he's up against another player as well, but just making it and just getting the win nonetheless here. 8 minutes to go, and there's just no way here for Golden Panzer. Like, I would like to hype this game up, but the map just doesn't allow for it. That's the same thing that we have talked about many times before on Black Forest and other maps. When you know the tick is, like, you have to do a Hail Mary earlier. When you know you're at 1,500 points behind on a map like this, where the tick just doesn't allow to make a big swing in the last 5 minutes, then you have to do your final push at the 50-minute mark. Don't wait to the last 5 minutes. It won't matter there. No matter how good your KD is, it won't matter. So risk it at the 15-minute marks or tap out, because this currently is just a waste of time.
Yeah, it's the northern area, even now attacking the Gulf here. A lot of those points could have been used a little bit better. I understand the tank and leader and recon squad attack in the northeast from Golden Panzer, because you kind of want to check out if that zone is beatable with a single Abrams, and it did get pretty far in, but I believe it was the flanking ATGMs and the extra troops that finally got them there.
Yeah, and the
But
LGB bomber, that is the big issue, that he couldn't cover the whole front with AA. He could cover the south. So I feel like, and as that, I feel like beating the 11th where it puts its focus would have been the better strategy. The idea of spreading out thin and like pushing where the enemy isn't strong makes a lot of sense in a lot of matchups, but I believe specifically in this one, you need to push 11th ACAF where it has its focus and take it apart there, instead of trying to spread out and allowing it to get another combined arms that it can just get cheaper than you and win another combined arms fight elsewhere. And yeah, that's what happened here. The +2 still going on for Adler, as he even gets another capture back in the middle. The Eriks is there just having an absolute field day, and might even get a kill here on the M1A1 TV. Oh, getting it down to 2 hit points. Eriks reloading. Stinger team there not gonna win anything. The Abrams in the middle goes down as well, and in the end, it's a GG. And with the last couple of minute losses, yeah, the KT actually goes back to Adler here. Golden Panzer with a good amount of value there, but the pushes in the end there costing him a good bit as well. The pushes in the north costing him some M1A1s and so on as well. Like, those fights up there, I believe, were pretty cost inefficient, whilst the ones in the south were quite solid. But yeah, in the end, Adler with the better idea for the map, with the better game plan, and with the W here.
yeah, I mean, love to see 11E and Airborne win a game, especially on Chandra. That people have, and myself included, have described as being like completely armor favorite. But I do think that, as I was talking about and you were talking about, there's a bunch of different zones that could have been used here. And even though 11th Horse isn't the most flexible, there's a lot of stuff it does lack. But just singular infantry squads could have taken so much ground if they had been put into the tree line down south, for instance. You could just have an infantry squad move out there and destroy a Milan 2 maybe, and open a bunch of way for your tanks to and recon vehicles or even helicopters to do stuff with. And just concentrating on the front line from start to finish. In the start, it was smart. In start, you want to concentrate your fire support into the small area, so enemies' attacks are going to be immediately repelled. But then that's when the passivity came in. That's like 11th Armored Defense should have been reinvented into something else, because the constant frontlining, especially in Bravo, especially against the Erikses, just was not reliable. Like, we, from the guard view, we could see how the Bravo position was basically like 3/4 or 2/3 covered by enemy concave. And that's something that you can't deal with that with tanks. And even the CEVs like struggled with it because it was such a complex area.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes in game number 2. This one was the counter pick from Adler. Game number 2 is the counter pick from Golden Panzer with Motorstrelka Division Seleka versus the 4th Modschützen. So that is going to be a pretty interesting one as well. Omen is going to be the map, the second mirrored map in the pool. So quite a bit different in that it is easier to get into the enemy side, and it is maybe even a bit longer and a bit wider. But yeah, gonna be a fun one. Let's see how that one goes. Quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with game number 2. Just 2 Omen. Yep. Panzer up here in blue on the left side. Another joke incoming from Adler. With the first question being asked. Let's see how flat this one is. And then on the right side, we have Adler coming around with the fourth motto. The fourth Mordschützen versus the fourth Motto-Striker. This should be a pretty fun one. Omen is a weird map. I'm not a fan of running into it in ranked. Not gonna lie, a lot of the matchups there are pretty imbalanced. But if you know it's coming and you can prepare for it, can prepare to pick for it, I think it's a pretty great map actually, with being mirrored and all. So this should be a pretty intense one.
Yeah, especially for infantry divisions, Omen seems to be such a nice balance between limited but very crucial open ranges that can be held with pretty small amounts of tanks in the end. But also, if you have extra tanks, you can use them to kind of force some breakthroughs. I love armor in doing like, I don't know how to say this in English, but you know when you have like a cross, you have like up, down, left, right, vertical, but then you have the northeast, southeast corners. This is it diagonally. You can do like diagonal attacks from like Shariton to Gregory, or from Boris to like southeast between Shariton and Gregory. Stuff like that. I think you can, if you build up a late game force with extra tanks, because late game infantry will on close range, will generally fight off late game tanks on close range. I would also like to point out that I read this 50 cent, 45-cent joke in 2005 from a children's pop music magazine that I was reading in a psychiatrist office.
Yeah. It's not the freshest one, but it's
Yeah, some like early 2010s music references coming. Adler dating themselves.
and yeah, T55 AM1s here coming around as the opener. 2,275 meter range T55s. On the other side, we have the older versions so far, the normal T55As coming around that don't quite have the range, so they have to push a bit closer through a forest to get there. Both sides without smokes, and the T55 AM2s that Adler can bring around will outlast those T55 AM1s by quite a bit by having smoke and by especially having the extra frontal armor. And yeah, the 50 Cent concert featuring Nickelback. This is something that I also remember from primary school, I believe. No, it was quite a bit later, like 6th grade or something like that. And yeah, T55 AM1s here rolling in good masses. The T72's gonna be the kings of the battlefield. And it's going to be interesting to see how Adler's little forward deployment here is going to play out. Only having one Falcon SPG-9 for the south, and then having a couple of Falchamega Medis and normal Falchamegas pushing towards Dimitri, and that, I guess, is the plan here. No forces towards Boris at all from Adler, so really interesting one there. Pushing it through the flank, maybe trying to get to Elena, as on the other side, the forces towards Boris are quite numerous, and really shows you how thin you have to spread it out on this map, especially if you also want to get a bit of a bigger push somewhere out.
Yeah, I love the. I'm not the biggest fan of the SPG-9s. I've never played or never had success with them, but the upvetted SPG-9s are nice, cheap way to balance out the fact that the Fallschirmjägers are quite expensive, because you can't get like full on a third squad maybe there. And the SPG-9s also, they can buy the first few minutes. They're trouble enough for enemy recon or enemy infantry or even enemy light vehicles that they just buy time. And buying time is important if you're playing Fourth Moto here. Fourth Moto does have the early advantage. Now, of course, the Czech infantry division, significantly heavier, has really good artillery, so you can't rely on the Fallschirmjägers or for the whole of your game.
Moto strategy with the RPG. Don't fire with it! Big mistake from Golden Panzer, not staying static. So he actually gets the Fallschirmjägers to unload, and the Fallschirmjägers will win the duel. Oh, big mistake from the Golden Panzer. Could have gotten the Fallschirmjägers in transport there, but heard that they would immediately unload and wanted to get to the building first, and didn't get the shutout with the RPG-7 VM. Whilst now we see a Rapira coming up there as well. The SPG plus Fallschirmjägers absolutely should win the day there. Other Fallschirmjägers moving around. Golden Panzer trying to get the Conquerors behind the enemy lines up north. That could be quite annoying. MiG-29 in the air, and Golden Panzer hasn't figured out the situation in the middle just yet. Once they realize that Boris is completely empty, if they realize that, they can push really deep and create a lot of trouble for Adler. But Adler really predicting that the enemy might not have the best recon. That's one of the tabs where 19th has some good recon units to control the open fields, but they're not the best fighting recon units for the openers. So well predicted there. And MiG-21 trying to get the Me-2, flies into the Mi-29 and the Coops, goes down there. BMP CV trying to disengage there, might escape the BMP-1 on the other side, but Elena under pressure, and yeah, Golden Panzer needs to figure out quickly that the center is completely open, that they can take all that space, otherwise this map is going to be pretty imbalanced soon.
Yeah, I mean, the question of Golden Panzer here is not do they realize that Boris is empty? It is do they realize or do they bet that Chariton is also empty? Adler is really stretching their luck right now, knowing that it takes time for somebody to secure the enough like recon intelligence in the middle to actually be confident with it. But Golden Panzer also has 3 Zalosnichi and a Veritel Motostelci here. Like, with all of these tanks, there is more than enough to just keep pushing right. And Adler needs to keep up the advantage, especially by pushing into Elena. And, like, this is, I think, might be the way to go here if you are the lighter division. Because if you attack the middle, you can be stopped by the heavier tanks in the middle. The middle is large enough and complex enough that T-72s are going to come out. But if you attack the northwest, get into Dimitri, get into Elena, and start threatening center, suddenly there's a way larger front line, and the T-72s, T-55s, there's going to have to be more of them to actually contain you, and that kind of keeps you on the tempo up and up for the moment.
Yeah, though the infantry of the Czechoslovaks is pretty capable as well. The one of the East Germans with the Resolute trait, obviously, is that it gets for free on all the infantry is a pretty big one, but the Czechoslovak squads are in general bigger, which kind of evens that thing out. T-55 M1s here now also start to get some engagements, but there is a Rapira. The RT recon units not around just yet. And there we go, T-55's finally spotted. The Rapira now in trouble. Didn't use its main gun, only fired ATGMs and gets stressed out quite a bit. BMP-1s firing around. Don't get the hits. Rapira gets taken out. Me Too URP being really clutch in the north there. Coming in before the mod Aufklärer can get deeper. And likely gonna clean them up. Stress them out fully now. And gonna get the kill there. T-55 M1 moving around. The Esterka behind that. Pretty important too. MiG-29A on both sides now flying around. As center has been captured and Golden Panzer pushes a bit deeper there, trying to figure out where is the enemy front line. Finds the BMP-1 down in the south as well. Most likely gonna get the kill there in a second. Both MiG-29s trade each other. The Me-2 does stay alive though, gets a BMP-1 as well. And Golden Panzer starts to get some decent trades here.
Yeah, the Conquerors, losing the Conqueror to the Motto Aufklärer here, presumably, is pretty bad, but also it wasted 3 of its shots, so the T-55, even without the Zalosny, could easily take care of this. Now, if Golden Panzer moves to southwest, though there's a cluster plane dropping in, this is, not the dive bomber here, though. This is completely dodgeable, not by a T-55 necessarily, but by other units.
Yeah, T-55 on the open field, not quite fast enough. Gets hit there, gets killed. We have the first Pivonia, first big artillery gun here for the Czechoslovaks coming around as well. 2 T-55s dying in the south now. The Fagot getting the second one with a good ATGM hit there. So Golden Panzer gets stopped again. Whilst we have a push towards center from Adler, but that might be a bit over-eager here. That might be a bit too close to the enemy spawn, a bit too far away from yours. Overextending a bit, especially as he can't really get a CV in there right now. Tries to move there with Fallschirmjägerführer nonetheless, but the Svatava, the T-55s here, all already coming around. I don't think he can hold this. The Saloshnitsi trying to find more spots as well. We have 5 T-55 M1s there coming around for this. Vonia needs to reload as well. Me Too URPs. Abusing the situation that there are no Strela manpads around. And the Svatava, really great unit as well. Exceptional optics, giving the T-55s targets to shoot at. As the units keep on moving across the map. T-55 M1s in the north. Finding the T-55A now. Ooh, getting side-shotted. Second T-55A comes around as well. Gets the kill. Next one gets hit frontally. Good movement there from Adler. Golden Panzer gets picked apart. Second one does miss. The ones of Golden Panzer have the higher veterancy, so on paper they are the better ones, but Really good maneuvering from Adler. Finds the Conqueror's unit in the north of the Mi-24D as well. But Golden Panzer finds the way to get into Gregory, but has little reinforcements there for a CV. Needs to clean up the center here first. T-55 AM1s engaging against the BMP-1 and the T-55A. The Me-Too URP is really, really helpful here right now. This is the biggest advantage right now for Golden Panzer, that the enemy doesn't have good anti-helicopter AA, and that his T-55s can get assisted by that. Finds a good amount of kills here, but loses another T-55 AM, as the T-55A micro from Adler is still pretty good.
Yeah, so far this is worryingly transitioning into a mech attack from Golden Panzer. Worryingly for Adler, of course. There are some Fagot missiles around, and there is a Rapira deploying in the eastern flank, but these are not really in number here to deal with everything. The helicopters need to be rearmed. Some vehicles here should maybe be repaired, but even then, there is more than enough here for Golden Panzer to start the attack already. And even with the Pioneer not opening fire really, and even with the middle kind of standing still, Adler spent a bunch of forces in fortifying Sheraton and and did lose Gregory. And currently this is buying 3 tanks to start an attack towards Gregory, while all the tanks for Golden Panzer, all the reinforcements at least, are going into the attack in the northwest. And I think this might be turning into Golden Panzer's fashion, because Panzer can actually transition into T-55s if this is going to be about the tanks.
Yeah, T-55 AM1 here on the open field. Gets hit pretty hard with a side shot from a Fagot. Can it get a second missile on target? I don't believe it can. So will get out alive. But the Rapira and a T-55A did go down on the other side. Fagot does find another side shot there. The ambushes on the T-55 AM1s so far pretty good from Adler, but yeah, overextended a bit with the push towards center, I believe. This really did reduce his combined arms defense there in the north and allowed the helicopters to raid his forces. And now he has to wait for the T-55 AM2s to arrive, has to retreat out of Gregory, and that is not great, giving Golden Panzer a foothold back into that town, where you can bring in infantry again. Yes, there are cars, a lot of those on the way. Adler does bring reinforcements, but maybe over-invests currently into Gregory with the 3 tanks. Maybe overestimates the amount of forces that are there for his opponent. And there's potential for counter push towards Anna, but that is a long way to go. But the push into the northern zone here, into Dimitri, is a lot easier for Golden Panzer. We have MG fire against the Fagot. We have a kill there. Cells needs the pushing through. Yes, their car moving around. There is still a good Fallschirmjäger and SPG-9 position for Adler towards Elena, but is stretched pretty thin there, and he needs his reinforcements to come in. The first two T-55 AM2s coming in. They will outclass the AM1s, as I said before. The 14 frontal armor is super key, reducing the damage that the AM1s can do by a lot. But T-72 is already on the way, and they, with their 19 pen, with their 17 frontal armor, are a whole new level. You need some AT planes or some Conqueror's ATGMs to actually have a shot at killing them, and we don't have any of those kind of units around right now.
Yeah, and so far, like, the reinforcements from Adler have been so mech focused, and they're going all around the map now. There is no concentration here. There is a buildup of forces, including like 2 Strela 10s going in the middle. Maybe Adler is basically betting that they can start out a counterattack, start using the Sheraton garrison to apply pressure soon. But even that case, that's going to be an attack that's either going through the entry road, which is controlled by the Zalosnichi, and you need a bunch of fire support to deal with, or sacrificing infantry, or you're going to attack the sides of the Boris zone, which are open ground and easily concavable and challengeable by the tanks. Not to mention the fact that the Mi-24Vs have great Cocoon rockets that can stop this stuff on 2,800 meter range. So Boris is pretty solidly held, and Adler, if Adler actually wants to attack Boris, they can't also like reinforce all the other zones as well. I don't think. I think
Yeah.
Golden Panzer might just get like the advantage of being able to decide where the fighting happens, and also having the better tank, of course.
Yeah, and we have a big fight in the south. Oh, now, a big force coming up in the south now, but it's not moving in there yet. Adler's still trying to figure out what is in Gregory, not realizing that there's absolutely nothing there. Maybe lacking a bit of recon right now across the battlefield. Yes, we have the Fagots there moving around. We have the Strelas moving in. The units in the north, yeah, being repositioned, but the T-72 M1K is just a bit too strong of an obstacle to overcome there. And the troops starting to go down. The MiG-21s are in trouble. Aufklärers moving around. And yeah, this push in the south could be a big victory here, actually, for Adler. There is nothing in front of him really up until Anna. He could just dive deep, but he has to realize that, and he just doesn't seem to quite grasp how much of an advantage he has down there.
Yeah, and there's also, the helicopters existing as defensive tools means that a full-on breakthrough is probably not realistic, because by that point the gunship could have gone there if it hadn't been dived by a MiG-21. But yeah, Adler seems to be content to just capturing the zone back, and now buying a cluster bomber. I'm not sure at what end really. Maybe probably trying to get the T-72 M1, but now the cluster plane has been called off. I don't know what happened there.
Motschützen under fire. MP1, SP2 goes down in the north. Me2 URP getting the kills there. And yeah, Strela and moving around. The push in the south has to come. BMP2 actually being allowed to take out a Motschützen there is a bit unfortunate. If 5M2's getting into range there will over time deal with the Velitel. Fagot getting to engage the BMP2, T-55s engaging from all sides. The BMP2 heavily under fire. Should be picked off here. Fallschirmjäger should be able to push forward in a second as well. But it gives Golden Panzer enough time now to realize what's going on here. He already reinforced it a bit, bringing in more units there. MiG-21 gets shot down by the Coop as well. 72 now being able to rotate south. And if Adler would have realized how much of an advantage he had there, he could already be at Anna, or at least really close to it right now. And instead, he is still in his own zone. He is behind on points, and he kind of maybe has to do it through the north now again, where his way towards Elena is still around, but he needs to go through 2 T-72s by now, and the situation is only getting to go worse down up there.
Yeah, there's an Su-25 here trying to preempt a breakthrough down south, but actually no breakthrough happening right now, and at risk of the MiG-21 diving it. There's also the Strela 10s managed to take out the gunship, which is a big loss for Golden Panzer's southern defense, but as long as the T-72 doesn't sacrifice itself by going too close to the T-55s, I think this defense is going to hold. Yeah, here we can see the MiG-21 doing horrible damage, and the Strelas trying to finish the Su-25 ground attack plane.
Failing to do so. Su-25 surviving, getting out with a few hit points. The extra survivability of it paying off there. One Yester car going down in the south, but that's about it. The BMP2 even still alive with 1 hit point, and this is really big for Golden Panzer, getting a lot of value against infantry with that autocannon. Whilst the northern situation is stable for Golden Panzer, and he is able to get more and more units in there. His artillery maybe could do a bit more. MiG-23 cluster, that could do a bit of damage, but actually only goes for 1 T-72 and doesn't even finish the job there. T-55 M2's not around to immediately finish it off. Does get out alive at least, but the MiG-29 on the other side will do so as well. No Coops around currently to kill it. The artillery did a good job there, taking one out. The other one got killed off as well, maybe even both killed off by that artillery piece, so good value there. 2 more coops are being brought up now, but still a way out. And a coop coming in on 1 vet here for Golden Panzer as well to stop such cluster runs in the future. Spot is pretty solid here for the player in blue. Should be able to push out the north eventually. And yeah, Adler has to try to make it weird, has to try to make it wide as well. As T55M2 engages against the T72 frontally, and that's not a great time for the East German tank here.
Yeah, here we have a really bad engagement in Southwest currently for Adler. Adler not controlling it, taking the bad engagement. And even though the Motoraufklärer and the Motorschützen, the Motoraufklärer have kind of opened up ground for Adler's forces to move in, there aren't enough. There are a lot of support weapons like Fagots and Strelas, but not actually attacking units that could support these Fallschirmjägers. So the T-72 with its fire supremacy is just going to hold this on its own. All the other units are going to have to stand back. Too many resources have been being kept up by the northern attack.
T-55s there even keeping firing now on fire support. Infantry fighter is going decently well for Adler. The South needs to not achieving all that much there. Strelas moving around as well. MiG-29 flying above it all, but the southern situation really could have gotten so much better for our player in red. Golden Panzer really did hold this with the bare minimum, and T-72M1 still alive with 1 hit point, second one around, next one coming in towards the northern part of the map, and that really starts to become the big issue of Motschützen not having anything with high penetration on the ground, and that 17 frontal armor just starting to become a real issue. You can't even quite one-shot them with the Su-22 AT planes. Need a bit more damage, as 16 is the cutoff point there, so even that is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, here we're seeing Golden Panzer is attempting to move back into Gregory, just extend that 250-point lead just a little bit further, and more BMP2s getting bought to support that. And I think with the second T-72, if the Moto Pruskomnichi move into a little bit better position and start spotting the T-55s and BMP-1s, I think this is doable by Golden Panzer. Though Golden Panzer probably using most of their attention trying to micro the fights up north here, with Adler going in for a counterattack now with the T-55 in the southeast flank of the northern attack, or the northwestern attack.
Yeah, getting a lot of decent kills there. T-55, AM1, the Swatava, and the Yesterka, and a bit of infantry going down. The T-72s of Golden Panzer being way too late there in this fight. Terrible engagement taking there from Golden Panzer. T-72s should be have been in the middle of this, and yeah, now wasted all the units in front of it. So now the T-72s trying to push on their own. That's not going to work out there. So Golden Panzer is stuck a bit there again, and maybe has to consider the southern push. Is ahead in points, does get 2 Aufklärungs BMP1, so situation here is still absolutely fine from Golden Panzer. This hold in the middle is pretty big as well, and if he would want to, he could also still threaten towards Sheraton. But yeah, Adler at least getting a bit of value here and staying in the game with this engagement up north. And if he can find the T-72s there, so there's 3 to kill, but if he can manage a way of getting 2 of them, and maybe then push towards Elena again, he might be back in business. Ooh, side shot! T-72 there! Oh, showing rear armor even, maybe. T-55M2 gets another shot, gets the kill.
Oh.
Massive mistake from Golden Panzer, just making a normal move order instead of a rear move order there. Big mistake, playing the T-72 like it would have to move in historical terms, but in WARNO it has a normal rear gear with full speed, so can just move it backwards. And yeah, the Pivonia now firing towards the south, but losing a T-72 like that is a pretty big blunder, and a nice start here. Second T-72 just staying out in the open there as well. Did I curse Golden Panzer here? Is he going to start losing his key units up north? Ooh, those are big mistakes. Another one coming up already though. So he's back to 4 T-72s up north. So situation should still be somewhat stable, but that was still a really unnecessary loss.
Yeah, now with Golden Panzer's BMP reinforcements moving in, I think they're ready for another push on Gregory. And yeah, even more reinforcements are getting bought for Gregory. So Golden Panzer is committing on this. Little bit of air support would be nice, maybe, considering there's only a few Strelas nearby and no planes up right now. The Pivonia not doing the greatest task here. A little bit too slow, and without the third shot, it doesn't reliably kill units. And I don't think it's well, no, it's been firing corrected shots. I'm just not sure why they maybe they have been mistargeted.
Yeah, they tried to hit the SPG-9, but the SPG-9 did move there, so it didn't get the kill there. It would have gotten a kill against SPG-9 as this has low hit points, but yeah, Northern engagement now. T-72s showing their sturdiness, taking it 1v2 against T-55s, but still being alive with 6 hit points. And Mi-24V there with the calls being annoying. This is the really strong BMP Mi-24V with the long range rockets that still hit pretty hard, the 122 millimeters. S-25 AT coming along north, trying to find a way to get the T-55 killed, trying to find a way to find the kill of the Vulture Megaführer. Coops getting some good hits, getting the kill. S-25K goes down. MiG-23 cluster comes around in the south. Can it find a good hit? It's a good spot. T-72's trying to spread out. All of them get damaged. None of them get killed. IBM2s maybe can find another couple of good shots here. No, they can't. Engage. Oh! Side shot! Once more, T-72 down to 1 hit point. Unfortunate for T-55 that they don't find the finishing shot there. SPG-9 just slightly out of line of sight there. Otherwise, that would have been a kill there. The T-72s should disengage. Oh! T-55A finds the kill. Golden Panzer being a bit careless there. Important kills there. Golden Panzer's push in the south is stopped. No push into Gregory here anytime soon. SU-25 coming around on this axis this time around. No, only Strelas, no Coops here. And is coming in for some T-55 AM2s. Gets shot out. Doesn't get a hit. 2 missiles out. No kills. Well, MiG-21 flies to the north. T-72's there. Engaging slowly but surely. T-55 AM2B will go down. Sava does stay alive. And you only get a couple of those T-55 AM2Bs. You only get one card, so every loss there is big because with the ATGM, those are really powerful tanks.
Yeah, this is so far like Atlas been doing quite decently, especially in the northeastern fight. The recon positioning here and the ATGM positioning is really nice. Units are set up to be in defense in depth, basically, so that if the enemy removes one piece of the board, they immediately get into a place where a bunch of other ones are going to open fire on them. So even if Golden Panzer trades well, they're not going to be able to get the ground necessarily, get the tactical victories. And Golden Panzer now going once again with a bunch of T-72s going out there,
Cluster
getting a
bomber
front
though,
shot.
getting on top of this. Okay, where does the bombs land? Get good damage against one T-72, don't get a kill. 23 cluster bomber this time goes down. And there's no side shot potential this time around. Southern engagement here, Modschützen SVD holding the line nicely against the recon infantry. MP2s and T-72s there. Not in a right spot to fight. T-72 M1 doesn't get repaired even though there is a supply truck close by. Mistake by our player in blue, but the northern zone with the T-72s finally starts pushing out. Golden Panzer moved his own CV a bit too far, realizes that now, keeps Tick from getting into the favor of Adler, and that's the only thing Golden Panzer has to do for the rest of this game. This is the big issue here. I think if Adler would be ahead in points right now, his chances would be kinda okay with the lighter division here. But having to get some more points here, I feel like the only real way of doing this is going around the north right now with a bit of a weird push and getting Elena for enough times to get the points. Or a wide flank towards Anna in the south, but he never probed that, so I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, I feel like the northern flank towards Elena should kind of be the way. But the T-72s start to get more and more territory there and more value as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe Adler is doomed by the fact that they didn't take Boris when they could. Those
Oh,
extra.
oh, T-72M1's going down again. T-55M2 gets the next one. Two T-72s going down. Rest getting repaired. So Adler keeps on trading well here. Has a artillery piece in the south as well. Maybe a push towards Anna in the last couple of minutes. Could be a way in here as well. And yeah, a decently amassed force towards Boris. But Adler also not realizing how much of a force they have advantage they have currently there. Just like they didn't realize that before in the south. And there we have T-72s here moving up north again. Golden Panzer really not handling the tank fights well at all in this game.
Yeah, Golden Panzer is still sending infantry attacks, trying to get the tick up with Gregory, and I think that's kind of speaks that Golden Panzer doesn't think that there realistically is going to be an attack on Anna. There is a Conquerors in the sideline. There is a T-72 being
When
bought
we have
to.
movement towards the middle now. Boris is under attack. Pioneers moving forward. T-55s moving forward. And there is only a T-72, one T-72 and one T-55M1 on the other side. And then a decent amount of infantry, but bombers could help out there. T-55 M2s coming up. The artillery on both sides could be pretty key in these engagements too. The infantry, the reservist infantry here holding against the pioneers quite nicely. But special forces behind that. And a bit of Motschützen incursion in the north here as well. As I said, I would like a CV just trying to go through the forest towards Elena. That together where the Motschützen are right now. That could be a nice point thing as well. Adler played the first game point-wise so nicely, but he hasn't found a way to get a dedicated tick this game at all. He got a couple of points right at the beginning before deployment CV and so on, but he hasn't gotten any since then. And the only one who got some was Golden Panzer with the tick in the south, and that's the 240 point lead that he got here on the battlefield right now. And this is really important right now.
Yeah, like just a mild few minutes of a CV sitting in Boris as Golden Panzer was slowly securing it. You know, that could have maybe made the difference. Now Golden Panzer has two artillery pieces here, and they open fire on the Pioneer attack. Fallschirmjägers and Fallschirm-Einsatzgruppe are moving in. Are moving in on Boris, but there's no leader. There's no real plan here. The leader tank is coming in, and with 8 minutes on all of these units, they may be able to just move into the zone beyond the Zalosnichi and their military police guardians. But I don't think, but the T-72s are just all around the place, and the further in Adler is going to get into any position, the more Golden Panzer is going to enjoy the defender's advantage. And even if Boris gets taken out, Golden Panzer is now going to move into a +1, having finally pushed through the northwestern attack.
Yeah, but no push towards Anna right now in the south from Adler. No push through the north towards Elena. And as I said, I feel like the Elena cheese would have been the play. Now the Fallschirmjägerführer is moving, but the second one coming around earlier there, trying to do that, I think that could have been real value. There was no CV ready to move there quickly. That would have been at least equalizing the score, and now maybe with the push in the center, getting a tick back online there, that could have swung this thing around. His fire support was a bit slow in the middle there, leading the Pioneers to take a lot of casualties. His T-55s and SPW-70s are all around now, but they now don't quite have enough infantry in front of them. All of that needs to start moving. He needs to start to generate some value. T-55As coming in. And there are two more T-72s for Golden Panzer in the south. They start rotating around now as well. That should start Golden Panzer moving towards Anna. Like, Golden Panzer really just needs to get points now. It's a similar situation to where his opponent in Golden Panzer was last game. At this point in the game, the only way to win is by getting a big breakthrough, and you have to risk it to get the biscuit. If you lose here, that's no different than not pushing at all. Sure, you might lose a bit more points, but that cluster bomber, ooh, that might be big money.
Oh,
That is a good run. T-72 is a decently fast tank though. Gets only damaged, and the second one can dodge it. T-55's here. Keep on pushing forward. Keep on taking trades. MiG-21 coming in for the Mi-24. Gets the kill. Victory there. T-72 pushing forward against the T-55s in the middle. One T-55 is pretty close though. Fallschirmjäger Einsatzgruppe was pretty close as well. Didn't quite get in range. T-55 leader gets in, stops the take. Fallschirmjäger Führer moves through the northern forest as well. Might get into Elena. And the push in the south should come now. Realizing that there is, first of all, no other way to easily get some points. And Anna is worth a lot. And also maybe realizing that all the units in front of him moved around. The recon positioning in general in this game of Adler wasn't perfect. He had a lot of infantry, and he had a decent amount of recon, but not a great amount of recon. T-55 dealing with the T-72 slowly in the middle. One of them going down, but 72 down to 1 hit point. Supply situation there not great for Golden Panzer, but only 5 minutes remaining, and still no take for Adler. Adler needs to get a move on, and isn't moving at all in the south right now. I think this is the biggest mistake right now. He has 3 tanks there. There's only 1 T-72 in front of him. He has Modschützen there as well that could just A-move through. And he isn't taking that shot. But the push in the center is going somewhat slow as well. Takes out more T-72s in the north. Modschützen there, getting some value as well. But the Motostrelci of Golden Panzer might have spotted the Fallschirmjäger Führer, are on the way to intercept, and are on the way to stop the CV. Another SPW CV is only moving in slowly there for Adler in the north as well. He is about to get a take back online, but a +1 is not enough. He needs more than this, and he's not moving at all in the south. Why is he not moving at all in the south? Why are people refusing to panic in moments where it is worth panicking and A-clicking across the map? I still don't get it to this day. Look at the goddamn timer or play with an alarm on your phone, guys. What the hell is going on? You need to get this going, guys. This is an easy A-click. Anna is yours, and you don't take it. I just don't get it. Why people don't do the math.
it is a case of just paying attention, and that's why you have this big alert thing that says only 4 minutes left, and I never notice it when I'm playing. Just it's completely invisible to me.
Yeah, T-55 AM2KR not coming up. And yeah, I feel like people should play with phone alarms on, starting it when the game starts, and then keeping when 5 minutes are remaining. Then you check how is your point situation. If your point situation is like Arthur's, you just A-click into Anna. If you would A-click into Anna right now or 30 seconds ago, good chances are you get a +2, you get to a draw, you get to something similar to that. This way around here with a +1, you're not gonna go there. Especially not if your CV in the middle gets sniped. MiG-21 HEs here coming around. Will try to find a way to maybe shoot down the T-72 M1K in the northern zone. 2 of them with solid 4 250 kilogram bombs might be able to do it. But the zone in the middle fully captured. No movement in the south. And yeah, Adler is maybe getting a pretty decent KD here. It doesn't even get the bomb drop off though. And he won't get any more points here, likely. As he doesn't have a CV for the middle. Doesn't have any movement in the south. CV in the north is stuck. T-72 M1K does stay alive. Both MiG-21s go down, so the KD is down in the dumpster as well. T-55s go down there too, and Golden Panzer will get the draw here in the end.
Yeah. Do you say draw?
Well, draw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Drawing. Yes. Of course. So wins this game and get the draws in the series. Of course. Yeah. It's been a long week for me too, and yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing Adler. Adler has a few tricks that I barely see anybody ever do. Adler uses empty trucks as these ersatz recon units, basically forcing and finding out if the enemy is trying something on the back lines when they don't want to invest even like a KPV armed unit. That's a nice little detail. I enjoy seeing this, but I think Adler really messed up by not trying to do the lightest contestation in Boris. Just just a single unit to hold the enemy for a moment there, and a leader to quickly pick up the zone. You could buy extra minutes with that, and those extra minutes of points could have meant something. They could have done something. And you're correct. Now, finally, with the A move happening here, the T-55s, like Golden Panzer has not even moved their ATGM unit to actually hold this. There is a Conquerors there watching for backline action.
Yeah, but the T-55 is just moving too slow. It's going to be only there when there's like 30 seconds left. It will get in, it will get a couple points, but it won't get enough points here. So this could have happened 2-3 minutes ago. Then Golden Panzer would have even had less to react. The Motschützen here could have kept them moving forward, help dealing with the T-72s. Maybe even take a bit of attention away from the middle so that you win the fights there. And you could have gotten those points. Now T-72M1 actually was even able to get here. So this is not even a given that you get in there, but yeah, the T-72 does get hit pretty hard there with a side shot early on. T-55s actually have a pretty good time here, and will win this fight. Will get a +3 on with a CV getting back into the center, but it's just too late. 120 points per minute. If that would have happened 2 minutes earlier, this would have been fine, would have at least given the draw for the map. But this way around, it's a draw in the series. Well played. Both players did play a good game here, but Golden Panzer, with the push into Gregory, getting the points he needed. It was a close one, and it wasn't a clean one at all. The T-72s died a bit too easily, but Golden Panzer, nonetheless, with an even KD, gets the point here. Clean, even KD in the end.
Really nice to see a matchup of 4th Moto versus 90s Moto Strelci. Like the 4th Moto being hampered by their worst tanks, but then basically having the ability to play defense if they manage their special forces opener well enough. It's a really nice counterbalance to the 19th that, of course is heavier, but also gets their special forces in the form of the Visatkari. We didn't see the Visatkari getting here. Golden Panzer choosing to play this like very mechanized, and I think it did end up being a good choice from Golden Panzer's side. You're right about a lot of the tank fights just not going well enough, but Golden Panzer still didn't lose to those cluster bombers, managed to have a pretty decent air defense net all around, at all times, and didn't take too long to actually start gaining the free ground in the early game. Like if Golden Panzer had been playing just a slightly more passively, it's possible that Adler could have maybe even gotten into Boris despite not putting anything there. And that's something that you gotta call early on. You're gonna make some big decisions on how much you're gonna risk. And Golden Panzer just by hair's breadth managed to make the correct decisions.
It'll be a tough run for Golden Panzer to get back to Division 1, but we'll see how it goes. And we have one more Division 1 series to go for the day, guys. We're not gonna do 2 more because our voices and our attention span is just going to be a bit too low for going all that long. But we have one more series with Dahlbrecher versus Snowwolfie. Two of our favorites here fighting each other. This is going to be fun. Quick break, guys. Then we're gonna be back with the next Division 1 series. here we return to Division 1, Group D, a division with Starek and Tiberius Rancor. So if you want to make it out of this group, kind of need to win in this match. And we have two players who are pretty favored in our eyes when it comes to cheering for them. So it's going to be hard to cheer for one side or the other here, with Stahlbrecher and Snowwolfie facing off against each other. And we have them on 17th versus 5th Panzer. So that is going to be a really interesting matchup here as well. Stahlbrecher on the left side in blue, Snowwolfie on the right side. And
yeah, Snowwolfie here refusing to be locked down by type. Snowwolfie being known as a very like helicopter aggro opener player, and we saw naturally 101st getting banned against Snowwolfie, as you do, but Wolfie going in here and playing the 17th, kind of the reserve tank division of the Soviet Union, recently has been found out to be quite powerful, at least on ranked, because it just has like, I wouldn't say unparalleled, but still like A tier ability to bring stuff on board and in just the right numbers, in just the right consistency to be really difficult to deal compared to how easy it is to play. And if something is easy to play, you're going to see a bunch of it on ranked. And the key to 17 seems to be the very relatively cheap 105-point T10M. I believe this is like IS before the Soviet Union went woke. They called it the Joseph Stalin 10, but now it's just called the Tank 10. See what the cultural revolutionist took away from us. And this thing has 2 heavy machine guns and quite nice armor at 13 and pretty decent rate of fire. And that's really all that you need. With the T64Rs, the very cheap T64s being played like way less than the T10s, and with decent standard support equipment with the Shilkas. I believe they get Coups as well, and BRMs for those exceptional optics. Now, is that anything that can fight against the Leopard 2A4?
it's gonna be tough on a map like this, where you don't have smoke on these tanks. Like, I think these tanks are great in maps where you have like forest patch where you can jump and these 1925 meter range engagements. But the T10 and the T64R both are also not the fastest tanks, whilst the Leo 2 is the fastest tank. So with having more range, with having smoke, and with having more speed, on this map, it's going to be really tough to force engagements on your enemy with 17th. And I feel like you kind of have to do it with some bomber, with some helicopter sneak or so on the side. Or maybe some weird flanking, but I don't quite see how you flank around the southern zone here. This is a bit my worry. So I feel like the only thing that could get Stahl is being a bit overeager and moving the layout to A4 into a position where it can get shot up immediately. Like, because the amount of rounds and the amount of decent penetration that comes its way is going to be nice. The T64R has a bit of an issue. 15 pen is actually not that great. And it's, in general, not a great tank. Short price point. Like, T55 AM2s, for example, are a good bit more cost efficient. And for a similar price. But here comes the tank push. Here comes the plop. If it can move on the road and the Leos can't move on the road, then they might be able to get it. They get the Leo 1A1s at least, so that's a good start. Leo 1A1s not able to retaliate. They did move a bit too far forward. Milan 2 is still around. Gets a T10. Leo 2A4 here on the flank. Needs to be microed here. Stahlbrecher not disengaging with this is a bit weird. It's re-aiming and hasn't gotten a single shot out there and lets the enemy get closer. I'm not sure what Stahlbrecher's idea here is right now. But P64s running into Pioneer Carl Gustav's side-shotting and rear-shotting them is also not ideal here for Snowwolfie. Snowwolfie just A-clicking across the map, and it's not working out. he ate way too many Carl Gustav shots there. And the Leo
Yeah.
2A4 is still unharmed.
Yeah, the Carl Gustavs were nice in that the attack was nice because you have such a massed amount of weaponry. You can stun down the enemy unit before you're even past it. But the stun is only going to last for a few seconds, and the Carl Gustav is such a great weapon that on these under like short ranges, even if you're on low cohesion, it still has very reliable accuracy. And yeah, so those numbers of those Pioneer units, not to mention the Fernspur there with their fast-firing lore rockets doing stun damage, and yeah, that's all she wrote. It seems there was a
Yeah,
no Wolfie
really.
trying to get this out of the way quickly. But like, I get that was the thing. Like, get actually winning with that push would have been the position to start buying even more tanks and keep it going. But with the Leopard 2A4C alive, there's just no chance. There was
Yeah, and that's
all
was so weird that he allowed the side and even rear shots for the Carl Gustavs. Like, you have enough HE firepower on those tanks. They don't have a 50 cal. This is a bit of an issue there compared to other Soviet tanks like them. Like, as I said, the T-64 are actually not that great currently. Could use a
really
slight
bad
price
tank.
buff. Yeah, but on 2-vet, it's kind of okay. That's why Snowwolf brought it that way. And yeah, live the ISU. You have a great artillery and all, and could have lit that up with Shilkas and all, but he just drove through and allowed rear shots for the Pioneer Carl Gustav. Like, a Pioneer Carl Gustav was the MVP of this game, killing 2 T-64Rs and a BRM-1, and this is just not supposed to happen. So, in the end, the Leo 2A4 didn't even shoot much because there was nothing left after they moved past the infantry. And yeah, infantry AT in this game might not be the most capable, but if you let it happen to get rear shot after rear shot, it actually will murder you. And in the end, pretty easy win here for Staubweicher and a bit of a miscalculation in that engagement from Snowwolfie.
Yeah, Snowwolfie testing out if they. I hold on, I'm gonna check who got the first choice there. Yeah, so 5th Panzer was taken as a counter pick to 17th, and this was after like 4th Schmeck, 5th Blinde, and 4th Divisie were banned by
I don't
Snowwolfie.
get why you pick Airport for 70.
Yeah,
Like, this is not quite the map for it. We had Omen, Chandra, Vertigo surrounded for quite a band, so we had what was the other map? We didn't have Vertigo. God, Mount River? Yeah, why not Mount River? Like, Mount River has way better engagement ranges if you go around the flanks. Like, that would have been just a way smoother map than Airport for this. But okay, nonetheless, let's move on to the next one, and it's gonna be another fun one. It was a 6 Divise first pick versus a 4th Armored. So the fun picks continue coming. Let's have a look at that. This should be a pretty hot one as well. So let's see if that escalates as quickly as this one, or if we're going to be on for a bit of a longer match. See you all in a quick minute. Yeah, Black Forest being the map for this really interesting battle. We're gonna see 6 as the light French division one more time, and 4th Armored has been buffed a bit by bit into a okay division. It's not a strong division, but it's okay division, and it has a couple of strengths for this matchup, which we're gonna jump into in a second. Before, let's have a quick look onto the match arena page, and I think I closed it down, everybody. So let's have a look here. Yeah, there we go. This is where you can support the tournament, and you can also support it by liking the video on YouTube, by subscribing and following on Twitch and YouTube, and maybe by becoming a channel member or using a Twitch Prime or so, or a normal subscription to support the channel, making my life easier and enabling me to dedicate more time to this whole shenanigans. And also, obviously, follow over at Chlorite's channel if you haven't done so yet, as he will cast some more Division 4 games next week, most likely, over at his channel
Probably
as
this
well.
weekend, actually, but let's
Or
see.
this weekend. And yeah, we gonna be back here with Stahlbrecher versus Snowwolfie. So yeah, Match Arena page is up, guys, if you want to help crowdfunding the tournament. Big support there from you guys already. And yeah, let's see if you can push it to 1,000. That would be amazing. Would be the highest prize money that we ever had in WARNO history. It also would mean another 24-hour stream with me. So who doesn't want that? So Wolfie and Stahlbrecher here in for a really, really fun one. The 4th Armored Division here on the right side is in a pretty fun position as well, with chieftains, with Spartan's recon unit coming up behind that with exceptional optics, and on the left side we have Celtics, we have the Krebs coming around as well. So Stahlbrecher here coming in with the special forces and a good couple of light forces, legions, and so on, to try to make it fast. And I think that's what you have to do in this matchup, because if it gets only a bit stable, the just pure mass that 4th Armored can throw your light armored way and slowly but surely pick off your expensive MX-10s and pick your support fire away is going to be a big problem for the French division.
Yeah, 4th Armored, aka 4th Infantry Division, which is basically like a heavy infantry division, which mixes up really fast deployed good recon and infantry units with very mediocre tanks, but that come out en masse and can bring out and build up like really nice fire support blobs into the mid to late game. And before you get into the mid to late game, you have 9-man infantry squads with Carl Gustavs. You have the motorized rifles. You have assault pioneers, which are just one of the better engineer units because their machine guns can fire while they're on the move, unlike most machine guns. You have the Centurion AVREs that work like the engineering vehicles. They do pure damage to units in buildings and forests. And then you have motorized scouts, which are some of the best just core fighting scout units or recon units out there, especially for 55 points, which is the exceptional stealth going together with the Carl Gustav and the fact that it's got survivability, just very decent unit. And that's why I think it's 4th AD is a quite good choice to go against 6 Légère. The 6 Légère opens up with the crap Dynops, the Dynops being kind of weird, bad 40-point resolute unit with smoke and satchel, but no special forces or GSR. I don't like that unit myself, but you also get the crap, which is a 10-man special forces unit. Will beat the motorized scouts, of course, and these units followed up by some good French infantry, especially with the Legionnaires and with the AMX-10s being out there en masse to break through enemy lines, destroy reinforcements, and just be a complete standard nuisance. AMX-10s, especially the recon ones that had mediocre stealth, very nice, will probably get the first shot on long range. And with 17 penetration on max range, the penetration isn't that bad. The problem is that even against the chieftains, it's just not enough. Just if it comes a shooting fight between the tanks, AMX-10s are just going to lose. So Stahlbrecher is going to have to take out, and is going to want to take a bunch of risks, especially trying to cut those roads going into Delta by driving southeast with these AMX-10 RCs. Problem is, 4th AD can counter that with Lynx Hellarms and Gazelle recon helicopters. So that might actually kind of encourage Stahl to play safer and just try to contest middle. Stahl did not get the North Charlie position, which is quite of a big deal, considering the more aggressive division generally takes that. But
Yeah.
of course, Snow Wolfie is the more aggressive player generally.
Yes, Snow Wolfie also, knowing how he would play 6 Leger, positioning a mod rifle in the north already with the Carl Gustav there to cut down that road for potential flanking, but meaning that he has a bit less on the front line right now. The Dynops also somewhat helpful in the whole situation in the middle with the smoke, allowing the Crabs maybe to take some good solid engagements there. Crabs currently engaging out in the open against the motorized scouts and the quadruple MG fire there. Motorized scouts being able to get some engagements. Celtiques getting a kill against the Hellarm, firing a lot of rockets there actually. Bit of an overkill. There's the Legionnaires engaging against the AVRE. AVRE not smoking off. Does go down there. Big mistake by Snow Wolfie. Chieftain in the rear also being stunned down by the Legionnaire. MX with 17 pen. Not great, but the Milan 2 also helped out. Chieftain there now having to disengage. Mod rifles getting engaged as well. Dr. Pier has to be careful. And the AMX-10s now starting to really generate their value. Chieftains not spotting the next Legion AMX-10 around there just yet. Another AMX-10 RC trying to get on the flank. The Crab under fire. Jaguar rocket coming along. The Cluster Phantom on the other side. Not getting anywhere. Tractor up here pushing back the Jaguar. Phantom AA will try to follow, but will fly towards the Celtiques. That is scary. Celtiques get to fire. Phantom does get hit, does get the kill, and does get out. So in the end, find right there. VAB spies get shut down on transport. As the MX-10s trying to come in for the flank. Saxon might be able to spot that. Cluster coming along, but just going for the P4. Bit of a waste. Celtics getting the kill there. Snow Wolfie just not killing an AMX-10 or so with it. I feel like that would have been a way more valuable hit. The AMX-10 against the Chieftain. Chieftain missing there with 2 vet. Really unfortunate for Snow Wolfie. 70% accuracy, and he doesn't get the hit. Well, Gazelle Hots coming around, a lot more AMX-10s coming around, and Chieftains might be in a bit of a bad spot. Chieftains famously being pretty slow tanks, and the AMX-10s now maybe being able to pick them apart with the Spartan going down already, and the ATGMs now flying out of the E4 Milan Legions as well. First kill on the Chieftains, second one getting stunned down. Snow Wolfie in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, this is the chance for the Chieftains to get a good attack are now gone.
Oh no, second one going down as well. Only one remaining. And yeah, he hasn't generated any kills of his own.
Yeah, the concave already, like everything here working together. Like if one of those sidelines, if in one of those angles, the Chieftains would have gotten some shots off and traded against AMX-10s, then the situation could maybe be different. But if both parts of the tank force are getting dismantled this early on, that is exactly the position for Stahlbrecher to keep on applying the pressure. Just more Gazelle cannons coming in here.
Yeah, and you know what I don't get? You have one of the cheapest Milan ones that you like HGM carriers in the game, and ATGMs are famously amazing against AMX-10s. They one-shot them, the Milan ones, and you get them for 30 points. Like, where are the Milan carriers that just can push the MX aways forever because the MX don't even have the range to deal with them?
There's one in the southeast. There's one holding the flank.
Yeah, but they should have been in the middle as well. There should have been Milans in the buildings. The AMX are super shitty against the units in buildings, and now the Chieftains just get picked apart. Another one went down. Another bunch of chieftains coming in as another blob, but the other two in the south already super low. No supply there ever coming in to try to help them out. At least the Chieftain Mark 11 does survive for now, and the Gazelle Hot goes down, but AMX 10 Legion engaging the track trap here. More Legions, AMX 10s pushing around the flank here. And yeah, the Milan's not using the fire, and I feel like two of those Milan ones together with the Chieftains would have been big, but instead, it's a defeat here. Snowwolfie going down 0-2. Starbrecher with another 2-1 KD here. And yeah, just a weird opener from Snowwolfie and terrible engagements with the Chieftains.
Yeah, Stahl is just like Jackie Channing, like this through some goons here. Snowwolfie is just absolutely not like managing to even get openers that would allow for stable gameplay. Like 4th AD is the heavier division, and even though 6th Laguerre is really good at doing early game aggro, and even though it did get buffed, so it's not as completely worthless in the late game, like there were the 4th AD probably had enough stuff in it for, especially in a Black Forest game, to just keep up a grind and slowly whittle away and create the conditions where AMX 10s are going to be worthless. But not if they lose in the opener that badly. Like that's the AMX 10s just getting free reign, getting always the first shots, engaging on max range where the chieftains' guns don't fire, chieftains being way too slow to retreat, and if they get put down on low cohesion, they're not going to be able to hit anyway, so they're just free kills anyways. Like, you're correct about it. Like, there shouldn't have been an attack of those chieftains. There should have been a buildup of chieftains behind some Milan ones. And then, like, few minutes in, after you find out that, okay, so this is where the enemy is, this is where I have this nice wide front line of units, a few extra recon guys all around the place, that's when you attack. Like Snowwolfie trying to go too hard against the opener and trying to exploit the fact that AMX 10s are expensive, instead sending just as expensive units against them, but without recon.
Yeah, and really, GGVP here in the end, Starbrecher getting the points, and that Snowwolfie's around here will be insanely hard, having to basically get wins now against Sadek and Tiberius, so it's not going to be an easy challenge, while Stahl now has to win against either of those to get his chances up, so gonna be interesting to see the run. He managed to do a tough run in a tough group before and get pretty far with that, so let's see how it goes this season. And that said, guys, we're gonna end it here. We're gonna be back with more over the next couple of days. Haven't quite figured out when, but we might even do it over the weekend. I'm pretty free the whole weekend. And yep, the only thing I gonna have to do as well is streaming some Master of Command tomorrow, because that just dropped the beta, and that's gonna be fun. And I know you're gonna play some Battlefield 6, and all of you guys are gonna be hyped for Battlefield 6 as well, right? So we're gonna jump over to Human Place, playing some BF6 as well, and have some fun
Protoss,
over there.
are the seas now battlefields?
The what?
Are the seas now battlefield? That's a Master and Commander reference. Come on.
I watched that movie once when I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, me too, and I still remember it because it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. People in the chat, I'm sure you get it. It's a meme-ass movie. It's a very good one. But yeah, thank you for the stream, everybody, and let's go and bully T-Man about